Show us the edge. Yes. The chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Trying to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Have to show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah. Whoa, done seen the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning, time to come up and bring out the alcohol. Don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love, do you want it all? This ain't a blood of love, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show 'em the proof, show 'em that it shall be done. Show me the edge, yeah, yeah, yeah. Play with the edge, yeah. Show me the edge, yeah.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Oh, sorry about that, fam. All right, there we go. Shout out to the all right, man. For all things Pelicans, man, y'all tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Y'all feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We in here representing the Flocking Nation, man. PPR in the morning. Good to see y'all, man. Big ups to everybody. Michael, I see you, fam. GH15. Good to see you, Jordan. Much love. YBG Don. Good to see you. You dig. Good to see you, fam. Much love. Michael de Blasio. What's happening, Michael? How you doing, sir? All right, Charles. How you doing, fam? Appreciate the Flocking Nation. We're up in this thing. Now, of course, we know the Pelicans, man, had a disastrous G League situation, man, where we kind of watched them kind of stank it up in the G League, but it was more about certain players, right? You know, we would like, I said G League, the Summer League. Kind of confusing because really it's most of the same players going to be there. So the Summer League, and we watched the 0-4 Summer League happen, and we was like, man, it would have been nice to get a win, but you could see what the Pelicans were trying to do. They were trying to get some reps for our center, Yves Misi, for Carlo Mekabic, as well as Jordan Hawkins, trying to get him familiar with certain aspects of a different game. We got peaks, some looks at Antonio Reeves, this year's second-round draft pick. We've seen some of the other guys like Ford and others that tried to make moves and do some stuff. So, yeah, it was what it was, man. But in this matchup, we seen what happened with the Pelicans. And like I said, Yves Misi talked about him getting dunked on and everything. We kind of seen that thing, how that played out. But he says he's going to challenge a lot of shots. So, yeah, that's that Mutombo kind of, you can't have a conscience when when you challenge you. You're a shot blocker, you go for the ball, and sometimes you're going to get the worst of it. So, you got to have a short memory in that regard. But Yves was getting funky out there. You could see him moving. He definitely can move. Very active in the board, jumping, getting there. And does it make sense with the Pelicans? Now, we heard Doc Ock talk about them feeling positive about the roster. And of course, the Pelicans are going to go into the season with this roster. This is just what it is. But anyway, let's kind of go over some of this G League stuff, man. We're going to talk about this before we head into some of these other articles I got kind of tuned up for you. The Pelicans go down 0-4 in summer league play, man. And that's a wrap on it. So anyway, a much better performance in some of the bigs. Yves, as you can see what he was doing in some of the highlight reels we had, he finished with 11 points in 30 minutes. They gave him a lot of minutes in the game. He was around there doing this thing, had 6 rebounds, a better rebounded performance. Their forward played better, 16 points in 29 minutes of actual, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. I like Ford's game, but he's just not really a defensive guard. I mean, he facilitates well. And he has a decent shot. He was 3 of 5 in this game. But what's really interesting is the fact that, you know, he don't move his feet fast enough to play defense, which he could be a liability. But I do like his hustle and his mentality. And then, of course, he led everybody with 16 points, 13 from Jordan Hawkins in 30 minutes, 4 of 13 from the field. Didn't do all that well in shooting the rock, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, like I said, it is summer league. 12 from Reeves, the second round draft pick, a lot better shooting performance from downtown by him. 3 of 6 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown. And he was 3 or 4 from the foul line, finished with 12 points. But the plus and minus was really off in this game, obviously. But, you know, it is what it is. And of course, off the bench, we did see performances by Brooks, who got an opportunity to play, finished with 9 points. He didn't hit a 3, was 3 of 8 from the field, or 3 from downtown, and 3 for 3 from the foul line. 7 from Brockington, who struggled mightily in the summer league. I like Brockington. I like his athleticism, but he didn't look too good in this rendition this time around. We actually had an opportunity to see Josh Adoro get out there for 13 minutes. Finally, in the last game of summer league, he finished with 4 points and 5 boards. But in the end, the Pelicans marched off to a 0-4, very forgettable summer league performance. So, you know, we knew what this was about. It was basically to get some of these guys reps, because it appears that Yves might be the guy the Pelicans march into the regular season with. And the thing about, and of course, we have different guys. We got Tice, we have Karlo Mekovic, and Mekovic offensively is further along than Yves because of his opportunities in Europe. But like I said, if the Pelicans are feeling really calm and cool about their bigs, that's what the Octopus said. Octopus says that they like their young people, they like their center position. They added Daniel Tice, and I don't think Tice will be a big starter in terms of that, because he played over the last 2 years. He started like 2 games or something like that over the last 2 years, 4 games, something like that. It wasn't a lot of starter experience. Even though he's a reserve big, that's what Daniel Tice brings you. Karlo Mekovic, like I said, is going to be a factor in that lineup. But with the first round draft pick placed upon Yves, you got to look at it and say he's the man. He looked really good, man. He looked really good against the Grizzlies the other night. He really did. He was hustling. They gave him a lot of minutes. He was moving. He was shot blocking. He was very active. He was doing his thing. And I was very impressed with Yves' performance against the Grizzlies. But all the Pelicans, and they are forced to buy into what Griffin is saying, because the trade that would have sent BI somewhere would have brought back what they believe would have been a starting level big. That didn't materialize. So now we got to believe in these guys. We have to think that these guys will help. So it is what it is in that front. But anyway, let's kind of look at some stuff I got keyed up right here. It's kind of looking at 2 different views from reporters about the Pelicans, right? This is one right here from Yardbarker that kind of talks about the New Orleans Pelicans' current roster looks strong and ready for a deep run. This is Stephen Liu from USA Today Sports. And this was originally posted on Fadeaway World. So if that's worth anything, Pelicans' current roster looks strong and ready for a deep run. The Pelicans are gearing up for a 24-25 NBA season with a roster overhaul aimed at breaking their playoff drought. The biggest splash came with the acquisition of DeJounte Murray from the Hawks in exchange for Dyson, Larry Nance, and 2 first-round draft picks, along with Cody Zeller and EJ Liddell. We can't forget them guys. A former All-Star is expected to bring much-needed playmaking and defensive prowess to the Pelicans' backcourt, enhancing their offensive and defensive schemes. In addition to Murray, the Pelicans retained their core players, including Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, and Brandon Ingram. Although Ingram's future remains somewhat uncertain amid ongoing contract negotiations, the team also made strategic picks in the draft, selecting promising talents to bolster their depth. These moves reflect a clear strategy surrounding their star players with the necessary support to compete at a high level in the Western Conference. Now, these are some of their little breakdown about the Pelicans players. From the point guard standpoint, DeJounte Murray and Jose Alvarado. The addition of Murray has been highlighted the Pelicans offseason, acquired from the Hawks. Murray brings elite playmaking, defensive skills, and leadership to New Orleans. Last season, he averaged 22.5 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.3 rebounds per game, showcasing his ability to contribute across the board. His presence is expected to elevate the team's backcourt, providing much-needed support for their offensive and defensive strategies. Jose Alvarado, known for his tenacity and defensive prowess, continues to be a key part of the Pelicans lineup. In 23-24, Alvarado averaged 9 points a game, 3 assists in the steal and a half per contest. His energy and ability to disrupt opposing offenses make him a valuable asset off the bench. With Murray and Alvarado, the Pelicans have a dynamic, versatile duo at the point guard position, capable of controlling the game's tempo and providing constant defensive pressure. This combination of Murray all-around game and Alvarado's defensive intensity positions the Pelicans' backcourt to be the most formidable in the league, setting the stage for a potential deep run. Now, listen, even though I do like what the writer is saying, because he's not really saying, hey, man, DeJounte Murray, because it's obviously starting and then the bench, the bench guys. Jose Alvarado in the final year of his agreement. A lot of people believe Jose Alvarado is going to eventually leave, just like Najee Marshall did. But having DeJounte Murray here for a good time window and taking advantage of Jose Alvarado while we still have him as a backup point guard will be a very important thing, because Jose has that energy, that defensive energy off the bench. He's a bulldog, a pit bull on defense. He's highly injured, and his offensive game has improved. If you watch some of the stuff when his Puerto Rican play, you can really see that Jose Alvarado's overall game is pretty damn good. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Jose, because Jose has gotten better. You can see what he did, and having those guys there, I love the guards. Now, of course, if you go shooting guards, he talks about Jordan Hawkins and CJ McCollum. A lot of people are not too keen on CJ, but CJ can shoot the three-point ball. Off-ball CJ is more what we're aiming at right now, because the Pelicans really are going to be kind of stuck with both CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram, at least up to the trade deadline. Now, we still see a couple of trades had occur, lesser trades, with Zion Williams being traded to the Brooklyn Nets. We all seen that trade happen the other day. So it's still, trades are happening. But in terms of the Pelicans, David Griffin himself was saying to be trying to control the trade of Brandon Ingram. And he talked about it a few days ago. We covered it. Him saying that they didn't really have an interest in trading Brandon Ingram, despite the fact that they don't have an interest in paying Brandon Ingram what he wants. So this is a huge gamble, by the way. This is a huge gamble by David Griffin with the Brandon Ingram thing, because we'll see how it all looks, because Brandon Ingram just going to play his contract out and just go into free agency. I mean, that's only, that's nothing really to kind of go over about that. Okay, if you're not going to pay me, I'm making what, $36 million or whatever it is. That's fine. I'll just make my 36 this year. And then when the time comes, I'll just go into free agency and get the 45, 50 million out. Well, 45, 50, or whatever the market stipulates, I'll get. So it is what it is. It's not complicated. It's just what it is, right? All right, so anyway, on the next one, McCollum continues to be a vital part of the Pelicans offseason. Last season, McCollum averaged almost 21 points a contest with 4.4 assists, 4 rebounds per game while shooting almost 44% from the field and 38% from downtown. His ability to create his own shot and score efficiently from all areas of the court makes him a crucial asset for the Pelicans. McCollum's veteran presence in scoring will be key in leading the Pelicans backcourt along with DeJounte Murray. Now, a lot of people don't want to see CJ McCollum in the backcourt, the starting backcourt, which should be DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones. Now, DeJounte, we've seen his scoring 22 and a half a game. Herb Jones is a true 3 and D guy. He used to be just a defensive guy. You could leave Herb alone and double down on another guy, and Herb is standing. He's at the 3-point line up at, and he'll take the shot, miss the shot. That's old Herb. This new Herb, this 3 and D guy, he hits those threes confidently. So you got to respect this game. So the big part of the spacing and everything that they talk about, like the shooters and having all of these shooters around Zion, because he's a weapon that you can't stop. There is no legitimate matchup with Zion Williamson unless you send a bunch of people at him to try to crowd him, and then he slickly passed the ball out to one of his shooters. Herb can be in the starting lineup and should be in the starting lineup because of his defense. And what he did last year from a defensive standpoint. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Pelicans backcourt of DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones, man, playing. And that it kind of, dare I say, shades of Drew Holiday and Derek White. Now, listen, by far, that's probably the top. Right now, you got to say that's probably the top backcourt in the NBA with Drew Holiday, or either one or two, depending on what you're looking at. I think it's probably the top. But what the Pelicans could do potentially with DeJounte Murray and Herb Jones as a backcourt, man, you gotta, at some point, that should be like a top 5 backcourt in the entire league, not just the West, but the entire league. Really excited about that. But the CJ McCollum thing, not in the starting lineup for CJ, I think off the bench. That's what make the Pelicans lineup, like a lot of people saying, okay, yeah, you're keeping Brandon Ingram for the season. And what it does do is, even though like people like myself, I'm like, man, we can't, whatever. If it is what it is, we got to deal with it. And Trey Murphy comes off the bench for another year. You got Trey off the bench. You have CJ off the bench. You got Jose off the bench. You got, who else I'm missing? You got Jordan Hawkins off the bench, depending on if he can get minutes, because it's how do you fit Jordan Hawkins if you're playing Jose Alvarado and CJ McCollum? How does Jordan Hawkins get minutes with Trey there, with Jeremiah Robinson Earl there, where with the bigs that'll be playing Makovic, then Reeves probably being somewhere in there, probably toward the back of the rotation. You still have Jamal King, who we picked up as a 2-way player. What could he offer? See? So there's a few things Willie Green has to figure it out, because this team it's just different, especially with the bench. The second line, you gotta have that second line could score. They got grittiness with Jose. They got shooting with CJ and Trey and Jordan. They got bigs that play defense, whether it's Daniel Tice, Carlo Mekovic, or Yves. I think Yves is going to probably end up starting. But you do have guys, bigs that can hustle, there. So it's up to Willie Green to kind of figure out a stable bench rotation to help the Pelicans out. But there's a lot of scoring off that bench. It's a lot of scoring off that bench, man. A lot of scoring. Anyway, let's get back. Jordan Hawkins enters his second season showing promise as a reliable shooting guard. Last season, he averaged 7.6 points a game, 2 rebounds, shot almost 40% from the field, and almost 37% from downtown. That's absolutely amazing. If you're a 3-point sniper, this is what this guy is in Jordan Hawkins. What he did for the Pelicans before basically Willie Green just took him off the court and started playing other guys that played defense. And they took Jordan and said, well, his defense has to improve, while CJ McCollum running around out there and doing basically the same thing. Money talk, bullshit walks. But that's the thing. Calling the man Baby Ray Allen, and Willie Green deserves a lot of criticism for the type of stuff he says, because people listen. You can't call a man Baby Ray Allen which is basically calling him Jesus Shuttlesworth Jr., the son of Ray Allen, and not play Jesus Shuttleworth Jr. in these games, especially when you need a spark late in the season, like we were losing these games to the Lakers, and then you get into the play-in, kind of mess around there. You get to the playoffs, and you don't really utilize the guy. You play him like 4 minutes on his birthday. That's real comical. So he deserves credit. I mean, not credit, but he deserves blame rather for that. You can't do that if you got a shooter like him that's shooting 39%, 30, almost 37% from the field. And in many ways, like last year, the kid was in line for a lot of rookie honors until Willie just took him off the court. Just doing crazy stuff. Just took him up off there. Well, with McCollum's scoring ability and Hawkins shooting, the Pelicans have a strong and versatile duo at shooting guard position ready to contribute to their playoff ambitions in 2024. Then as we continue to get down into it, the forwards, small forwards as he terms them, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and then the power forwards, which of Zion, Trey Murphy, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. B.I. remains a crucial component of the Pelicans lineup, averaged almost 21 points a game, 5 boards, and 6 assists while shooting 49%. And 35.5% from downtown. So BI was, had that injury situation, came back for the plan, still was banged up. We know it takes anywhere between 8 to 10 games before you see Brandon Ingram be himself. Look it up. This is something real. That's inside game for you. It takes 8 to 10 games. If he's coming back from injuries, it takes him 8 to 10 games to look like the BI that we like, that we love. Herb Jones continues to be a key defensive presence for the Pelicans, known for his tenacity and ability to guard multiple positions. Jones averaged almost 10 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2.3 on assists. His defensive skills and his improved offensive game make him a valuable two-way player. Jones' ability to disrupt opposing offenses and contribute on the scoring end will be vital to the Pelicans' success. Big Zion is the cornerstone of the Pelicans' front court. He averaged almost 23 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, showcasing his dominant presence. Ability to score efficiently and facilitate for teammates is crucial for the Pelicans' success. Wyatt Williamson's health and consistency will be key factors as the team looks to make a deep playoff run this season. The biggest sticking point, even though we talk about the inability of the Octopus to trade Brandon Ingram for a better piece to fit, as they say, along with Zion Williamson, is Zion Williamson's health itself. That is something that we cannot get around as Flock and family members. We have to understand that Zion Williamson has to, at some point, play a full season of NBA basketball, or at least is available when we need him the most, meaning when the playoffs hit, we need Zion in the playoffs. It is very crazy that he had this fantastic season last year and then gets hurt in the play-in and then misses the entire playoffs. That is ridiculous, man. So that has to change. Now, how does that change? That's up to Amy Admore. That's up to the health staff. They have to figure out a way to be able to make sure Zion Williamson plays the majority of the season, right? And then be available in games like if they're fortunate to get back to the playoffs. We can't get around that. That's why BI, to a degree, we talk about what happened with Brandon Ingram and everything that happened with him and how he feels. I don't know if it's going to say entitled to the $50 million, because obviously he feels like, hey, man, I've led this team more than Zion did. Listen, don't forget, just because I struggled in, it coming off from injury, because I was coming off an injury with a team, don't forget, since I've been here, I've been out there more than Zion. So that's why he feels that he should, that he was the top option. So it's like, if you think about it, because you got to remember, these athletes have egos, man. Everybody got an ego. But when you're a professional athlete or an entertainer or a person like that, you always got people running up to you and they pump their heads up, tell them all the stuff. You're the greatest. You're this, that, and the third. And a lot of times, if you're not sound in your thinking, you let that get to you. That's why a lot of these people got big personalities, big old heads, and stuff like that, because people throwing that at them all the time. So if he feels, because he was actually there in a lot of that time that Zion missed a lot of time with the Pelicans, but BI was there. BI was there in option one and contributed. And to a degree, you got to see that Brandon Ingram says, hey, man, don't forget that. You're looking at it from last year's standpoint, but what about all the rest of them years? Don't I deserve that? People's like, nah. And he says, nah, I do. So, I mean, you got to think about that, man. Then you expecting him to fall back into the range. You led the team for all that time. And then the guy that they're not admitting is the option one, because they many times would kind of draw back about admitting to options. You'd be like, why would they do that? Because they didn't want to heap a lot of that on a player that can't prove that he can stay healthy. You see? So if you got one guy there and the other guy isn't, what you going to do? You got to play through who you have. And then what the man's supposed to do? Okay, fall back when the other guy comes back, then gets hurt, then goes back and no. His mentality is, I'm going to lead this team. And that's what he did. That's why he feels the way he does. And, I get it to a degree. I really do. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going. Trey Murphy, the third, continues to develop as a versatile forward for the Pelicans, known for shooting and defensive capabilities. Murphy averaged 14.5, 3.6 on the rebounds. His ability to stretch the floor with shooting makes him an ideal complement, for Williamson on the front court. Absolutely. Shooters around the gravity, the guy with the gravity. Shooters around Zion. Very simple strategy, right, fam? Zion, feed Zion inside. Zion one-on-one is barbecue city for anybody. You can't guard them one-on-one. They have to collapse. When they do collapse on Zion, ball goes out to Trey, ball goes out to Murray, ball goes out to Herb, ball goes out to BI, wide open jump shot, gotta knock it down. Gotta knock it down. Gotta knock it down. So that's the mentality the Pelicans are playing with. That's the space that they talk about. The space and pace, how fast they play, and the fact that you use Zion Williamson's gravity to implode those defenses and create wide open shot opportunities for your 3-point shooters, Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, CJ McCollum. You got quite a few of them, right? All right. Then Jeremiah Robinson Earl, as I affectionately call him, Uncle Jeremiah Robinson Earl, because that's an old school country ass name. I thought this guy was from deep south somewhere with a name like Jeremiah Robinson Earl. That's like Uncle Jeremiah Robinson. That's Uncle Robinson Earl. That's an old school, deep country ass name. And he joined the Pelicans in 23-24, adds depth to the power forward position, averaged 3 points and 2 boards in limited minutes. This guy could play. Despite those comical numbers right there, we know Jeremiah Robinson Earl has an offensive game. He's a hustler, really good player. Really good player. And we'll see. And this is who a lot of people believe will become the Larry Nance. We talk about this with Willie Green, man. As I finish up with the centers, the bigs, a lot of people talk about Willie Green as, he's not going to change. And I'm like, no, he got to change. He doesn't see. This is the reality. He's going to change. Why? Because the bottom line is this: the people that he was over relying on are gone. He relied on Larry Nance to a fault. He really did. Larry Nance was the answer for all things in his mind in terms of who the center position was. He overgave him. He would give, after Larry came off for injury, it wasn't even 100. He was still loading that guy up with minutes. I'm like, what are you doing? He over relied on guys. Larry Nance, Dyson at sometimes at the wrong time. Those guys are gone. They're gone. So there is no more over relying on these type of players. You got to develop your coaching acumen now. And like I said, Willie Green is in his 4th year as a NBA head coach. You got to see the light go on. You got to improve the rotations. You got to feel your feel for the game. And if you don't have the natural instincts for the game, have a coach next to you that does have it, and allow him the ability to kind of, get there and kind of, give you the game, like kind of, hey, coach, I think, let that happen. I think that's Borrego. If it's James Borrego, he needs to listen to James Borrego a lot more in the scheme. And I know Willie Green is a defensive minded person, but a lot of the defensive people you're relying on are gone. So you have to shift your focus now, and guys have to play, and you have to make it make sense. This is the fourth year. He has to make it right. He has to also have a jump. That's the ain't no shaking around that. Willie Green has to improve as the head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. A lot of pressure is fixated on Willie Green. I could see why he was sitting up there uncomfortable, looking constipated at that press conference with DeJounte Murray. And DeJounte Murray checks him and says, it will not be such and such, which is good. We need that because Willie and DeJounte have to be on the same page for the Pelicans to have success. And that's why I said that Willie will improve, because a lot of the game, how DeJounte sees it, it comes from one of the greatest, which is Pop. And Popovich's game is, Willie can't dispute that. So he's going to get the game from DeJounte. They'll work together. And I think that will improve how he sees the game. He will rely on DeJounte Murray in in-game situations and feel of the game type of things. It's up to Willie. One of the biggest components to improvement of Willie's game is he has to be faster with these rotations, better, feeling instinctually, and he got to make, if you see something going wrong, you got to hit that timeout. You can't sit up there with your fingers, with your hand, your arms crossed. You can't do that. And I think a lot of that is going to be better because you have a higher basketball IQ on the court. Remember, the Pelicans haven't had a lead guard of his caliber of a DeJounte Murray character. Last really, really good point guard we have, if you go past Lonzo Ball, who was a young, promising point guard that we picked up in the trade that couldn't stay healthy. But prior to that, the last one we had that was a really good guard, man, you got to go back a ways. The Pelicans have been void of a floor general since Rondo. I want to say since Rajon Rondo. That's the last time. And prior to that, it was Chris Paul. Then Baron Davis, when we had him down here for a little bit. But like I said, man, we haven't had that serious point guard since Rondo. Lonzo did some positives. I like Lonzo. They just never was healthy. So having DeJounte Murray here, think about that, what I just said. A lead guard is, since Rajon Rondo. That's crazy, man, that we went all that time playing basketball by committee. That's crazy. Absolutely insane. It's insane. But anyway, it's different now. So going back to the bigs, Tice, Yves Missi. Tice is a seasoned veteran, joined the Pelicans this offseason. Last season, he averaged 6.3 points per contest, 4 boards, and a block per game. He shot 53% from the field, and even had, I didn't know that, almost 37% from the 3-point line. How about Daniel Tice shooting out? And I have to look up and see what's his rate of shooting the 3-point ball, though. But they saying he averaged like almost 37% shooting the ball from downtown. How about that? His experience and defense abilities add some value to the depth court. He's a veteran with hustle ability, moves pretty decently for a guy. Now, some say he's 6'8". I've seen some 6'9", 6'10", but I think he's more 6'9", 250, solid person, can run the floor. Defensively, he's smart. He won't get hung up on these. Like me and DC was talking about this, about Tice, and how Tice he'll be the anti Jonas Valanciunas. You know how when how Vala pick, he'll pick the opposing player, and then the guy will run into him, and then the referee throws it, calls it for the foul. That's none of that's going on with Daniel Tice. That's not going to happen with Daniel Tice. He's pretty smooth and slick with it, and I think that will be a difference maker. And then, of course, Yves Missi, promising young talent. I love what I seen from Missi in that last summer league game, with him attacking the basket, shot blocking, running the floor, double jumps, getting up, he looked, they said that the kid's a fast learner. So I think the Pelicans could be kind of betting on that. Now, if you're looking at all of the players, if you got if you got DeJounte, you got Herb, you got Zion, you got Ingram, you got those guys. So you got Ingram, Zion, and DeJounte. Those are all 20-point scorers in the starting lineup. You got Herb there, who averaged about 10 a game last year, who could improve and will improve this upcoming season. that possibly can give you 13, 14 points a game from Herb along with those guys. And then because he'll have opportunities to shoot the ball. Herb is going to have a lot of wide open opportunities about, hitting the shots. Not only that, but just attacking him, getting the turnovers and heading up the court, doing stuff like that. Can Yves Missi fit in that? Did he do enough to say, hey, man, let's give him a shot on some Derek Lively type stuff? Did he do enough? We'll see. Can the Pelicans, and then this is the big question, can the Pelicans make a deep run this time? Can they do it? Pelicans are poised for a potential deep playoff run this year, thanks to a series of moves and key player developments. The acquisition of Murray and the Hawks add a dynamic playmaker and elite defender to the backcourt, significantly boosting both offense and defensive side of the ball. McCollum creates formidable backcourt duo that control the tempo, playing off ball. Even when we say him off the bench, even if you have CJ McCollum off the bench, I still want CJ off the bench and off the ball. But regardless, I don't want him to lead guard off the bench, even though he'll be the sixth man. I still want him off the ball, off the bench. You get what I'm saying? Because regardless or not, the ball still has to circulate on the second team. We have Trey, we have all these other guys. We still need somebody off the bench, the steel floor general off the bench to keep CJ off the ball. He's supposed to be off the ball all the time. We can't let CJ be the key ball handler off the bench, because what's going to happen is guys are not going to get any shots because he's going to go down and jack the damn thing up. That's what he does. Guys ain't even across the half court line, and he got the damn ball jacked up already. And then no, we can't have that, man. We got to protect him from his own vices, so to speak. All right. So anyway, it says, let's see, where was I? McCollum creates a formidable backcourt duo that control the tempo and score efficiently. Zion, if he can stay healthy, remains the cornerstone of the team. His ability to dominate inside, facilitate for teammates is crucial for the Pelicans' success. Pairing him with emerging stars like Trey Murphy III provides the team with a versatile and potent offensive front court. The return of players like B.I. and the addition of defensive stalwart Herb Jones adds stability and experience. Ingram's scoring and playmaking combined with Jones' defensive prowess give the Pelicans a well-rounded wing rotation capable of handling various matchups in the playoffs. And with the blend of star power, depth, and improved defensive capabilities, the Pelicans assemble a team that is not capable of reaching that is not only capable of reaching the playoffs, but also making a deep playoff run. If key players stay healthy and the team chemistry continues to build, New Orleans could be formidable contender in the postseason. Now, this is interesting because the Pelicans is the ultimate, boom or bust team. They're the ultimate because it's all based on Zion Williamson, a player that hasn't been able to stay healthy. If Zion if we lose him at certain intervals of the season, it's just people are living with the life that, hey, Q, the kid's just gonna get hurt. So in some perspectives, a lot of people are like, man, I don't think he'll ever have a season where he just go through the entire season without missing a game. I haven't seen it. You guys haven't seen it. I would love to see it though. But how do we get there? We know that the medical staff have to do everything it can to protect, to make sure this, that, and third, he's conditioned properly. And from what, remember Willie Green talked about Zion's condition, said he looks good. He's been working in all season. Remember, he was hurt and missed the playoffs. So there was an update saying that he's healthy, which everybody, when you get close to the season, that's the first and biggest question that people are going to come out and say is, where is Zion Williamson? Is he healthy? And that seemed to be the damn question every year. So now that the team is really focused and centered around Zion Williamson, and we have the shooters, we have some of these players here, how does it look? And that's the biggest sticking point. Can Zion Williamson be healthy when we need him? Because without him, the Pelicans they're not going to do a damn thing. I mean, they'll win some games, but they'll be capped out as far as how they can go, how high they can go without Zion Williamson. To get where you want to really be a team that plays for much more, Zion has to be available. He has to be available. So the health staff is a big part of the plan. Zion is a big part of the plan to make sure he continues to eat well and work out well and do what the people say he's supposed to do. And the third part of it is Willie Green. Willie Green has to be able to assemble a second string staff or a second line staff that makes sure that Zion gets the proper amount of minutes and that he's not overused. You get what I'm saying? That he's not abused in terms of his minutes, that he gets his minutes, but Willie has a good bench rotation that he circles guys in and out. And that's not just Zion, that's everybody. That's what the purpose of the depth chart is. We don't need to go 8 guys. And just because he can't handle rotations right, you're going to have to dig deep and put together a 9. When you got Zion Williamson, you need to have a 9 to 10 player alignment. You get what I'm saying? It's just common sense. So at some point, we got to see that. Those 3 things, the help staff working with him, Zion doing what he's supposed to do, and in agreement with the help staff, in relation with the help staff, and then Willie Green making sure he puts a decent second line that has 9 to 10 guy rotation every night to make sure that you don't overuse Zion or BI or any of these guys, and make sure everybody get their right amount of minutes. Because we have once again, we're fortunate to have a deep second line. So, all right. So that's one good article, fam, that kind of gave some love to the Pelicans. They like, yeah, man, the Pelicans doing this one. Now, this one, not so much, right? Let's look at this one, fam, and then we'll kind of move forward. 5 NBA rosters that make no sense. This is Grant Hughes from Bleacher Report. And this is what he's saying about this. He says, as the dust settles on the 24 NBA free agency, some seemingly unfinished and confusing rosters remain. The too little talent at one position, too much at another. Teardowns only have completed enough in each case to make you wonder, wait, are they really done here? It's not easy to come out of July with a team that looks fully ready to hit the ground running. That's my favorite saying. There's always a test phase in the early season, a filling out period in which coaches get a chance to see how theoretically player groupings look in practice. But when the team's here, it's particularly difficult to overlook the deficiencies and imbalances. Forget about how things might go in practice. Even the theories of how these teams will function, from their rotations on the floor to their broader organizational directions, are tough to grasp. For their sake, let's hope the off-season work isn't over. And then he goes through different people, the Chicago Bulls. Yeah, and you gotta kind of look at it and say the Chicago Bulls, a lot of people picked them for having the worst offseason. What are they doing? You know, that's the talking point. They've been trying to get rid of Zach LaVine with no takers, offering 2 second-round picks. One time they said they was offering a first-round pick, no takers. DeMar DeRozan trade, what are they doing, right? They traded Caruso for Josh P. Giddey, and we just keep it rolling, right? So I'm glad I'm not a Chicago person, that's for sure. All right, Golden State was another team that he mentioned as a head scratchers. And then ultimately, bringing in the 3rd place is our New Orleans Pelicans with BI, as you can see the picture there. If the New Orleans Pelicans roster seems like it's missing something, there's a good reason for that. When only Daniel Tice and the number 21st pick Yves Missi at center, Brandon Ingram's future very much up in the air. New Orleans is one of the most obviously unfinished personnel groups in the league. That's why deals sending Ingram to Cleveland for Jared Allen continue to have cachet and fake trade economy. Ingram might not be the ideal 3 between the Cavs' 2 small backcourt of Mitchell and Darius Garland, but the 2 big front of Mobley and Jared Allen, because he's best with the ball in his hands and isn't equipped to wrangle tough wings on D, but he doesn't seem likely to be a long timer with the Pelicans. Whether it's for Allen or some other big, Ingram's, whose contract is currently set to expire after next season, is one of the most logical trade candidates around. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy III are better support pieces next to Zion Williamson, who functions best as the primarily ball handler with 3 and D spaces around him. Jones and Murphy attempted more threes per 36 minutes than Ingram last year, and both were more accurate from deep as well. Murray on board as a secondary ball handler. If he returns to form, 3rd high-end defensive piece around Zion's. Ingram's best attributes, individual shot creation and mid-range sniping, are worse fits than ever. That's what he's saying about DeJounte Murray. The Pels are a more talented team with Murray in the fold, and even if they lost Valanciunas, Larry Nance, Dyson Daniels, and Najee Marshall in early July, but they're also imbalanced and clearly a trade away from shorting things out. So, what do you guys think about what he's saying here? He hits on some good points. Now, although I don't know that, I don't anticipate, I know Zion Williamson using point Zion, they'll do that, but I don't think DeJounte Murray will be the second ball handler. I think he's brought in to be the primary ball handler to set the table between these guys. And then at certain intervals of the game, they allow Zion Williamson to go into point Zion. I don't think they abandon that because it works well. But I don't think Zion will be the key ball handler. You want DeJounte Murray, who's more experienced in that role, who has those instincts as a floor general, who can set everything up. You want him operating that way. Then when the time comes, we'll roll Zion in there to do his thing. I think that'll be more consistent. Besides, when we seen that happen last year, when the Pelicans had success with Zion Williamson operating as the ball handler, they didn't consistently go to it. Like, they'll have a game where they would dominate, and then the next game they'll go back to whatever. That was like, what's going on here? After Willie Green said that, yeah, we're going to keep doing such and such, we like Zion Williamson with the ball handler. The next game they'll go into it and they'll be like having somebody else handling the ball and Zion to be standing on the wing. I'm like, what's going on here? Why are you guys not consistent in what works? It didn't make any sense, man. It didn't make any sense. And that's really all on Willie Green. The consistency of the mindset, that's up for him to be controlled. And for him to go away from something that works at time was very baffling. That's why I would say Willie Green, unless I like Willie Green, but Willie Green has to improve his philosophy. Ain't no way around that, man. There's no way around that. Zion Williamson remaining healthy, and Willie Green has to become a better basketball coach. And pressure's on. The pressure's on Willie Green to figure it out, man. You don't have all these other people he can rely on. You don't have Larry Nance to run out. Hey, Larry, go out there and play 25 minutes. No, man, you got to find somebody else. You better start doing it right, because I'm telling you, if you can't allow for slippage. Like, you have 49 wins last year. And shout out to y'all guys, man, for being here. I got a poll in the chat right now that's asking the question about, are the Pelicans going to improve on their win total in 24-25? And people, 73%, shout out to you guys, 73% says yes. Now, what I should have did was asked you, now, when I mean improve on their win total, the Pelicans won 49 games last year. That's what I'm saying. The Pelicans won 49 games last year. Do the Pelicans win 50 or more games this upcoming season is the question. That's the question. Can they do it? And for them to do it, you got to have a bunch of stuff that works in their favor. Like, the Pelicans from a talent standpoint, last year just ran over certain teams, ran them over, blew them out. We seen all kind of blowouts. Now, they caught a flat tire toward the back end of the year when you start seeing them lose to San Antonio. You see what I'm saying? They lost to the Lakers at the end of the season, then lost to the Lakers again in the play-in, and then got Sacramento, a team that they dominated. I wonder if we had gotten anybody else, would the Pelicans be able to beat Sacramento? We were very fortunate to get Sacramento in the playoff. We just had a mental domination over Sacramento, man. Anytime you beat a team through the year and then you just flush them on out, and you got them mentally dominated. So if any other team but them, I wonder if we would have had that, because that was the lone bright spot between us losing to the Lakers twice, end of the season, then the play-in, then beating Sacramento, getting OKC, and then just getting washed out of that by OKC. The lone bright spot in that series was Sacramento. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's a lot, because Zion has to be healthy, in which we hadn't seen him play a whole season yet. Not saying that he can't, but a lot of times early on, he wasn't taking it serious. Remember, he got on Gilbert Arenas' platform and talked about him, being, having money and having all this food down, having all this food. And I guess you're a youngster, you like food, and you in New Orleans. And listen, let me tell you something. You'd be bigger than the Superdome if you can't control yourself. We don't need him coming out there looking like Sean Kemp. The worst thing happened to Sean, if y'all remember Sean Kemp, the great Seattle Supersonic forward, Sean Kemp. But what happened? The NBA had a contract dispute, right? The NBA had a contract dispute where they wasn't playing basketball, right? And then the next year, when the dispute was over with, Sean Kemp came back and he looked like Shaquille O'Neal. I'm like, who the F is this guy? You know, he had a 1-inch vertical. This was the dude. This was the Rain Man. So he looked like you could have put Smoothie King stripes on his ass and misinterpret him for being the Smoothie King center. You can't, you're in a fantastic. Listen, I'm from here. Yeah, I'm from New Orleans, born and raised, right? And I'm gonna tell you straight up and down, baby, that the food, and it's not just the food, but it's the people, that environment. Like not only you getting something good to eat, but you got music going while you being entertained and stuff like that. We got a lot snapping and popping down here. So if you're not disciplined in your approach and kind of staying away and backing away from that goddamn table, you blow up bigger than the Superdome down here. You gotta watch it, baby. You gotta watch it. It's a lot of stuff down here that'll swallow you up. I'm just telling you. You get a turkey neck, and then the second neck, and the third neck, and then next thing you know, you're in the hospital. So you gotta watch yourself, baby. You gotta proportion yourself. You see. But I have to give Zion win, because early on, that's what he was doing. He was having good fun. He was eating. He was doing all the stuff, he was eating and doing all that. But in the end, right now, it's been a change. He's matured some. He had the baby, and him and his girl and everybody did good. So now he's focusing on, after he got the big money contract, he's focusing on keeping himself together. And you're seeing more of a professional version of Zion Williamson. As before, he was, I don't know if you could say from a physique and training standpoint that he wasn't locked in like he was supposed to, and he wasn't. But now he is. So that might contribute to us seeing Zion play a full season, or perhaps close to a full season. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying possibly. We haven't seen it, but I'm really hoping that we can, because that's when the success comes. Or at least if something happens, you would kind of say, hopefully it happens at a certain interval of time where we will be able to get them and have them for when we really need them, which is the playoff push. So it's all very, interesting to see how it goes. But that's the purpose of having deep teams that can absorb as much injury as they can, and also be able to play guys at certain minutes to prevent them from being hurt. You see, some games you get more minutes than others, but in a balanced approach, you have the bench that second line that kind of makes sure guys get a certain amount of minutes, so that they capped at a certain bit. And then you have guys doing what they're supposed to do. But if you look at what the Pelicans, how they constructed, and a lot of people are not happy about them not moving Brandon Ingram. And I'm one of the people. I'm like, man, it kind of puts a cloud over the team of uncertainty that we're playing over. And I don't like that, because it could potentially be used as a deterrent. It could be used as a distraction mechanism. You see what I'm saying? So it's interesting, man. We'll see how it goes moving forward, man. All right. So anyway, shout out to you guys, man. I know that first article right there was giving the Pelicans some love. This one, not so much, saying it's a confusing roster because it has the feel of being incomplete. Man, ain't lying, man. It is now being complete simply because Doc Ock is saying, hey, man, we gonna be looking forward to playing small and fast. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, Doc Ock? We got big guys in the West, man. What you talking about, man? We just talking about Zion Williamson playing the full season. We don't want to see him at the 5, brother. No, sir. We do not. We don't want to see him at the 5. We don't need to see none of that shit. All right. So yeah, small and fast, man. Get the hell out of here, man. You better get that 7-footer center. You better get him ready to play some ball. That's what you better do. You better get Yeeves, and you better get Carlo, and you better get Daniel Tice, and you better get them guys ready to play some basketball in the Big Easy, man. The hell with all that other talking about. The octopus be just going crazy, don't he? All right, 504 Coach says, Q, my 3 biggest concerns are the center position. If BI is not moved, will he create bad energy in the locker room? And has Willie reached his ceiling as a head coach? A 504 Code, those are very, very interesting concerns. And I think a lot of the majority of the flock believes in what you're saying. They're saying that too. They're like, man, I don't know. But that's because you got the octopus running around here and he's saying stuff. And I wish he would stop that, because he kind of fans a lot of the flames. he fans a lot of these flames, right? Because really, if I want to hear about scheme and fit, I want to hear from the coach, because the coach is the one that has the direct ability to be able to employ these people in a way that makes sense. Not the octopus, not him, not Doc Oct. And for people say Q is, most people probably listen to shows that Q, who the hell is Doc Octopus? This is goddamn guy right here. You see, that's him. That's what I'm talking about. This guy. And the reason why he's called that is because he's a micromanager. He puts his goddamn hands and his opinions and everywhere where it don't belong when it's not warranted. We don't need to hear you about we looking forward to play fast and little. And no, we don't want to hear that. What's the purpose of drafting a 7-foot center that can run if you're talking about playing fast and the guy's a fast center? What are you talking about? See, that's what I'm saying. Just shut up and go somewhere. Stop talking and let somebody else talk. Let the general manager speak. I got a problem with them dudes, with a guy like him speaking more than the general manager and the coach. He's speaking more than the guys that actually are on the court, the ones that implement the philosophy. Just shut up and go somewhere. It's annoying. You're looking forward to paying space. And what he's doing is he's trying to create a narrative that he done everything he could do. But in essence, he blamed everything but his own stinking ass for why Brandon Ingram is still here. He blamed everything. He blamed the size of the market. Well, we can, and you can make mistakes. If you're no, you can't make mistakes in big markets. They got general managers and VPs get fired all the time for making poor decisions. It don't matter how big the market the team is in. You got to make the right decisions. You have to make the right decisions with the money. You got to. It don't matter. And this guy get a max and this guy get a max. And they got 3 players on the Pelicans team totaling over $100 million. I don't want to hear it. If you can't do it, take your ass out of here and let somebody else that know what they do come in here and fix the team. Go somewhere. That's the problem I got with the guy. We don't need to hear you all the time. Let's hear from the coach to put these guys on the floor. And you validate, because that's what I'm saying. When you hear playing small and fast and all this kind of rhetoric, it shoots in the face of what they're doing. It's a contradiction. And I don't think it just be prattling on thinking people are not going to dissect what you're saying, because it contradicts the flows of what the team is doing. How can there be a super hot market for BI at the start of the trade cycle, and then by the end of the cycle, the market's dead and everybody got traded that's similar to him? How does that work? And then toward the back end of the conversation, you contradict yourself again by saying that we really didn't want to trade him, which would explain why he's still here. But you don't want to trade him and you don't want to pay him. So what is he going to do? Play 1 year on this contract and then leave in free agency? And it don't take Poindexter. They don't take geniuses. They don't take Bill Gates. They don't take nobody with a high IQ to figure this stuff out, man. Come on. But yeah, the concerns of the center position. Yeah. The first round draft grade goes to Yves Missi. Obviously, based on them loading him up with minutes in the summer league, they anticipate him being an option for the 5 spot. And can that be the case? I don't think they have much of a choice. It can be Daniel Tice. He started 2 games and 4 games in 2 years. It can be Tice. And Karlo Mekovic, his offensive game is further along than Yves, but Yves has the first round grade. You have to be right. You got to justify the first round pick, you would think, especially if you have a first round draft pick center at a position of need. You got to play the guy. And then they hyped him up, and we like him a lot. We think we're confident and such and such. Well, that kind of lets you know what that's going to be. So there you go. Now, it's not ideal. It really isn't ideal. But this is the path in which Griffin has put the Pelicans on. I don't like the fact that I don't think BI is going to be a problem to the Pelicans, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think Brandon Ingram is a professional. I think BI is going to play. He's still making $36 million this year, still a lot of bread. He'll play his 1 year and then go into that new CBA next year with all that elevated money and try to get as much money as he could next year. It is what it is, right? And this is the path the man set us on. But I don't think he creates bad energy in the locker room. I think he'll have fun with the Pelicans and then go get his money. And Willie Green reached his ceiling as a head coach. I don't know if he reached his ceiling as a head coach. It's just he's been head coaching for 4 years. This is his 4th year. And I think that would be a question, like if you a guy that been doing it for like 7 or 8 years as a head coach, But Willie Green is not a strategist. We know that. Willie Green's rotations are delayed. His timeouts are delayed at times. His questionable rotations at times of putting in defensive players when you need offensive sparks is very questionable at times. It's just, I don't know what is going on there. It's like, no, you need offense now, not defense. And now that the team has moved off the guys that he used to do that with, now it's more offense. Like, look at the team, like, especially off the bench, it's more offensive driven than it is defense, right? Think about it. You have CJ McCollum has to come off the bench. That's a guy that should be all right coming off the bench. Jose Alvarado's getting better. Trey Murphy's getting better. So those are three guys right there, especially between CJ and Trey, that are offensive inclined, even though Trey is doing a lot more than just shooting a three, right? Him coming off the bench. And then you're playing the second teamers, which should make Jose, CJ, Trey games like playing those second teamers. It should be they should be able to have an easier game as opposed to them going at the starters. Those are the backups, you would think. But that's up to Willie Green to figure out. I don't know if he reached his ceiling as a head coach 504. I don't know if to say that, because I still think Willie Green is his biggest flaw, in my opinion, is his stubbornness, is his inability to stick with what works. You see, because there were games last year the Pelicans lost simply because he made the wrong choice in the game. Like, they were at an interval where the game was in reach or it was tied, and had he made the right decision to go more offensive, the Pelicans could have pushed past. But at times last year, he made a lot of questionable decisions that ultimately led the Pelicans into losses, especially on the back end of the last year when the Pelicans lost all kind of momentum. They just fell through the floor. They were the road warriors, and then they couldn't even win on the road. So, I mean, and then the IQ of knowing, like why were the Pelicans so good on the road last year? And then it's like, okay, where did you guys play? It was common sense stuff. Like, where did they practice at? We practice in the building that we played the team that night. Well, won't you do that at home as opposed to practice on Airline Drive in the practice facility? Go down to the Smoothie King Center and practice down there to get familiar in your own building. Do that. They did that one time and got a win. And then he went back to the practice facility. I don't understand, man. What you doing? You see what I'm saying? That has to improve, man. So he's not known as a strategist. People like Willie Green because he's a good dude. He's a faithful dude. In terms of his faith, he's big on that. He doesn't curse. I'm going to call you up as opposed to call you out, that type of stuff. So Willie comes from the school of that. He doesn't get vexed that often. He controls himself. He don't get texts to inspire the team. That's not his philosophy. I'm not going to, he even said that, he ain't going to lose no money over it, which some people are like, what? But that's his stance. That's what it is. But that's something that Willie Green, you don't know, brother. You haven't earned the right to be stubborn, brother. You can't be stubborn in this stuff, man. And that's what I was saying about him improving, because he has to. He'll stick out like a sore thumb if he doesn't improve, because DeJounte Murray is coming here, and DeJounte Murray is not going to do no backward stuff. Just saying. Like, even in the press, and you've seen it in the press conference. Like, I was looking at Willie saying, Willie looks uncomfortable. Why does he look so uncomfortable? Why? To me, I made the joke. I said, the man looked like he constipated up there. Then you seen DeJounte Murray say it will not be difficult. It won't be hard, this type of stuff, because we know what this is. But Willie has to improve as a head coach, and he has to work with DeJounte Murray to improve as a team. I do not separate the coaches and the team. I don't separate. They're all on the same tier. They're on the same team. Coaches and players, they both need each other to win. I don't separate them. So whatever progress Willie has with DeJounte Murray is progress for Willie and the entire team. That's how I look at it. I don't separate the people, All right. So big ups to the fam, man. That's my little talking points. So let me see if I can kind of reach out. Thank you for that follow. Yeah, those are big concerns, man. We all have. We don't know how that's going to look, man, but it's going to be something. We'll see. Sat says if BI balls out, he's still on the team. Murray, Jones, BI, Trey, and Z, two tall forwards to compensate height. Can't double. Thank you, bro. All right. What's up, Jessica? Good to see Jessica. What you doing, Jessica? You cleaning up this morning? I remember Jessica's. She said she was cleaning up and listening to PPR in the morning. All right. Shout out to you, Jessica. All right. Hey, Mike says Misa will be what we wanted from Jax. How about that? Yeah. You think so? Because listen, I don't even like to, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't even like to mention Jackson Hayes' name with Misi. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it because it feels like it's disrespectful for me to say that about Yeeves and say that about Jackson Hayes. And we knew Jackson Hayes was on that BS down here. Jackson Hayes wasn't in that practice facility working like Herb was. Herb was in there living in that facility. He was in there working out, getting stronger, working on his game. Najee Marshall was doing Najee, Jose, Herb, those guys was in there putting in work. And look how Najee got compensated. He was an undrafted guy with the Pelicans from what was he from Xavier? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong on Najee. But Najee worked his way up from a two-way player to get a big contract with the Mavericks. I hate the fact that he's still in the Southwest, but it is what it is, right? Congratulations to Najee. That shows it. When it happened with Herb, got his money. That was big. And then you seen Jackson Hayes get shipped out of here. He was a top 10 pick for the Pelicans. He didn't put in the same work that Jose or Najee or Herb Jones did. He didn't. He didn't get stronger. He didn't get smarter. And he didn't put in the work down here to be a top 10 pick. It was a bad selection. And it's very shameful. So I don't try to put Yeeves nowhere close to Jackson Hayes because Jackson Hayes was a joke down here. He was a joke down here. He was the palm tree that was a parachuter. He was a paratrooper. That boy didn't like a head fake. He didn't like a head fake. Boy, Jackson Hayes, man, the only thing you had to do was just see Jackson across the street and say, yo, Jackson, and just did like that. And that boy jumping all up in the damn tree somewhere. I mean, the dude didn't have, any kind. He wasn't patient. Even the simplest things like being patient on the picks. He wasn't even that. I called him he led the NBA in impatient picks because he didn't even set the damn pick. I was like, dude, come on. How can't you not be patient enough to set the pick correctly? What's going on here? But that's why I said Jackson Hayes, man, to me, man, was a terrible decision. He wasn't serious about basketball in New Orleans. He didn't take it serious like Herb did, like Najee did, like Jose did. He wasn't working like that. Every year we was like, he needs to bulk up. And then he looked like the same damn dude he was from the start to the finish. And he still looked like that right now. The most memorable thing I remember about Jackson Hayes was him fighting police officers. Remember that? That's the most memorable thing I remember about Jackson Hayes from his tenure with New Orleans. And that happened in California. Remember, he was fighting them police, scrambling around 7 feet, scrambling around on the ground come on, brother. But Yeeves is a whole nother person. You can see he's serious about basketball. And despite the fact that he's a guy that had very limited exposure to basketball, and you watch how he looked the other night, the dude is serious about it. He's a natural. Like, he got the height. He runs the floor well. He and he doesn't have a conscience. Like some guys get dunked on and they get a little shy. He got the worst of that dunk. He got yammed on in that first game. But you see him still not letting that get to him. I respect that. I like that. And then he's fast. He moves pretty good. So I don't know what the octopus talking about. Yeah, we won't play small and fast. You don't need to play small and fast, guy. You got a big center who's fast. And don't command the ball that's going to clean up the offensive glass, that's going to shot block and protect the iron, who can run with the guys. You don't need to play small and fast with Yeeves Misi there. So we got to check the octopus on that. All right. Yeah. All right. We got Lex, my girl, Lex chiming in. Lex, what's happening? What's popping? How you doing? Good morning to you.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Basketball talk. What can I say? It's always good to talk basketball. So,
oh hell yeah, it is because we got the family members say in the poll, we got 70 plus voters on the poll saying the Pelicans are going to improve on their win total in 24-25. So that means more than 49 wins, Lex. That's enough that by fault should give you enough positivity in your New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Look, we shall see. Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, it's hard to say, man. I don't know. I gotta at least see a few games to kind of determine that. But yeah, we gonna see, man. We gonna see.
Well, I mean, like I said, Lex, is several factors we covered earlier in the stream. Like we talked about Jackson Hayes, like where, not Jack. God damn it, I was just talking about Jack. That was my last thing, the paratrooper. But in essence, let's just throw him out. Zion Williamson. The biggest things for the Pelicans having the type of success we see is that we need to see Zion healthy. Amy Atmore, staff having them. We talked about Zion different from the past because he coming in, he's in shape, he's eating right, he's dialed in, he's got the money, he's more mature. We got Amy Atmore here. We got the physical staff. They're doing what they're doing. And then Zion obviously on the same path. Then there's the other things to protect him with rotations is Willie Green. So can Willie Green, and I know that's a sticking point that a lot of people like, man, that's what they're more concerned about the Willie Green front than they are about Zion's health. Like I want to see Zion play a full season, at least one full season. And that is based on those two other options that we talked about, and the fact that Willie Green has to develop a second line rotation that can kind of absorb minutes and kind of make sure these guys get the minutes, but at the same time, they're not abused like we did with Larry Nance and other people last year. We got to make sure we don't overuse these people. And that's a big part of it. So I know the talking point is Willie Green. You guys like UNDC don't believe that Willie Green will improve. You believe that he will remain the same. If that is indeed the issue, then the Pelicans will not top out with success. But I think that won't be the case because I think DeJounte Murray drives the Pelicans. I think Willie Green gets on board. I think their philosophies mesh, and I think the Pelicans go. I don't think Willie Green is going to hold his team back. I don't think he will because of the pressure and because DeJounte Murray is your floor general. What do you say about that?
Well, I mean, he hasn't had pressure for real, but I don't know. It really helps when you have a floor general and a good coach. Okay? If you look at a lot of these other teams, they have a floor general and they have a good coach. The Pelicans have a floor general now and a bad coach. Okay? So when you look at, but for real, when you're able to have a coach that can add on, who can elevate what you already have going on, you know what I'm saying? That takes you to a whole nother level. It does.
But is Willie a bad coach, Lex? Like bad? Is he the worst coach in the NBA?
I mean, do you hear any coaches giving him any type of praise?
No, Lex. I'm asking you. Is Willie Green?
You know what? For the talent that he has, probably yes.
What?
For the talent that he has, like the thing is, he has a lot of talent. What's killing Willie? His rotations, timely timeouts, making those adjustments. You know what I'm saying? And you have a talented team. It's different. And plus, it's not like this team is extremely young. You know, you have a nice balance of matured players, guys who know their roles. And then like I said, man, like you look at JV, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we lost a big man for nothing. I don't care about that second draft pick. You know what I'm saying? It's like it took him 3 years and to learn the roster. And even in them 3 years, he still didn't have it down. Now it's going on year 4. I don't feel like he really knows his personnel. And that's the problem that I have. It's like, dude, like, you have to position your players to be successful, to get the most out of them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even when you look at Summer League, you know, the way that they were using Hawkins, like he got 18 points this past game. But even with everything that he was going through, he wasn't being used correctly out there, which made him look even worse than what he did last season. Positioning players to be successful is very important because that's how you maximize their talent. You have to utilize them correctly. So, I mean, that's important. That's very important. So, I mean, Willie's got a lot that he needs to address. I just want to see it. I don't want to be like, yeah, he's going to improve just because DeJounte Murray's there. And I think that's the thing that everybody's kind of focusing on. We have DeJounte Murray. Well, guess what? Other teams have a floor general and they have a good coach on top of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why we say all the time, a lot of the pressure is going to be on DeJounte, which is really sad because it's like, you heard Willie on the presser. We're just going to put it in his hands and let him do what he does. And we'll have it in Zion's hands and let him do what he does. And I'm like, dude, that sounded so awful. Like, you're not trying to help anybody get better as far as outside looking in, because that's the purpose of a coach. You want to help elevate that high IQ player, because some things, believe it or not, some things you can still see looking outside in. Sometimes you can't see different situations as you're playing the game. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of high stressful situations. But when you have a good coach, it's like, you know what? I see something. I see something that maybe DeJounte doesn't see. You know what I'm saying? But for DeJounte right now, he's got to figure that out by himself.
Yeah, I can't dispute what you're saying, Lex. What you're saying is real deal money. I don't see Willie as the worst guy in the NBA though. I don't. Like I said, I still see. I still leave him room for improvement. But like I said, when you have DeJounte Murray there, I mean, and that's the thing. Is like a good point guard, a good floor general changes things. He changes things for you, not just for the team, but for the coach too. The coach is a off guard. He's a guard. He play guard, so he has some guard concepts. And for him and DeJounte has to be on the same page for the Pelicans to have the type of success we anticipate them having. If they're going to win 50 or more games, last year the Pelicans easily could have won 60 games last year, easily.
Yeah, they could have.
Easily last year. So if we bring back this team, and even though a lot of us like, man, it has a feel of a unfinished feel to it because of the contract situation that's lingering over the top of the team. I don't have anything against BI, but once you make the decision to trade a player, that gets a little funky. There's a little funkiness going on right there because prior to that, the player felt like that they'll give me the money or whatnot, and the relationship was better. But once the team, the player and the team realize that, hey man, it's a weirdness right there. So that's why I was like, okay, once that was known, you gotta trade them because of the weirdness. But if they're gonna keep BI, that does make the Pelicans look pretty interesting when you have DeJounte there, you have Ingram there, you have BI there, you have Williamson, Zion there, and then you have CJ off the bench, you got Trey, all this kind of stuff. So it makes the Pelicans team look different. It makes them feel different. Now, I don't think BI, like I told 504 Cole, I don't think it makes the Pelicans, I don't think BI makes it a dark cloud over the head of the team. I think he'll play well with this team and then take his $36 million into free agency and see if he can turn it into 50. So I don't see it being easy there.
And that's one thing that concerns me, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at this Brandon situation. It's very similar to JV's situation. If you all think back last summer, JV and the Pelicans organization could not come up with the deal, right? They couldn't come up with anything. So they went into the season, let everything ride. Trade deadline came, nothing happened. Once the trade deadline passed, look what happened with JV. He walked for nothing. And I think, obviously, I think Griff was trying to get something big for Brandon, but really because of his value not being high or, his demand. No, it's one of those things. If you're not going to trade him at the trade deadline or from now until this, um, around the start of the season or pre-camp, you know what I'm saying? Or, camp and all that stuff. It's like it can easily become a similar situation to JV where you just get absolutely nothing, for him. So you go from trying to get a big package, but his value's not there. The demand's not high. And then, when you really should, hey, grab some pieces that maybe you could trade later or, respectable pieces. You may not get what you want, but isn't that way better than getting nothing at all?
Yeah, but that's the thing about the David Griffin. He and that's the thing, because I don't believe David Griffin. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because he contradicted himself in his interviews.
Yeah,
The last
he
time we
does
heard
a
from
lot.
yeah, right. He contradicted himself. He told us, and we did. He did. He told the people that the trade value for Brandon Ingram was hot. It was high. It was hot at the start of the time. Sort of the trade season. Everything was popping. Everybody wanted Brandon Ingram, and then next thing you know, it went from that to nothing.
And
How,
see, I
and
think that's
then
weird.
yeah, and then he says at the end of the broadcast, we didn't have any interest in wanting to trade him anyway. And I'm like, well, that would explain why he was never traded. It was
Yeah.
because you wasn't trying to trade him.
Yeah.
So
It's like he
that's what
messed up on his words there.
right. He said that. I'm like, fam, did you hear what this guy said? Some asshole said, hey, but Q, you overanalyze it. Man, shut up. It's not overanalyzing when you listen to what these people say. These people not even thinking, man.
Lying is not a good human attribute.
Man, I'm telling you, it's like the dude kind of like, man, did you catch that? He contradicted himself. He contradicted himself in an interview. First, the market was high, and I was asking people, how did it go from red hot to nothing? And then you see people getting moved, like, oh, the CBA.
Yeah.
And tell some bogus nonsense about the CBA making it difficult for people to be traded. And then you see people being traded as we talking. Zaire Williams just got traded to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
People
he
are making
did.
trades right now. So what
Yeah.
is you talking about? Blames it on the CBA. He blamed it on the market. The fact that the market was small, or you can't make mistakes in the market. If you're in the big market, you can't make mistakes. Obviously, you can't make mistakes in any market. You will get fired. You have to make good business decisions at that level, or you will get fired. You can't do what you're doing down here. You got an owner that's not paying attention to the team like that. She just leaves people alone. Griffin has a first-rate sucker here. He does, because she's not paying attention, and the second guy not paying attention. They're not looking at that. So I mean, but nobody, the media people don't challenge it. They just print it. They don't challenge it. A lot of them, I ain't gonna say some of them do, but a lot of them don't. They just go along, get along gang over here. So I mean, you have to challenge what these people are giving you. What he's saying. He said that the market was hot for Brandon Ingram at the start of the season, and then it went from whatever it was boiling hot, to whatever it is now. Then he says in the interview that we had no interest in trading him, which would say that if they were given, I told y'all in the previous streams that the insiders on the street were saying there were trades. It wasn't trades like you've seen what the Pelicans get for DeJounte Murray. That was Griffin sticking the pistol on him and getting them out of that, reserve players and 2 future first-round picks for DeJounte Murray that fits the window of Zion Williamson and your core team right now. That was a pistol. He put the pistol on him. That was strong arm robbery. What David Griffin did to the Hawks. But in terms of what he was doing for BI, they said they had picks out there. Some people were saying that they had trades that would give a starter back and a draft pick. There was some that said a starter back with pick swaps and stuff like that. And the guy didn't pull the trigger on it. He wanted more. He played himself basically.
Yeah,
He
he
played
did.
himself.
And Griff is trying to hold on to those picks. That's basically what he's trying to do, because he's not totally bought into, okay, I want to hold on to something. It's like, dude, you ain't doing nothing with them, no way. It's like, I just feel like they would kind of like, lock in on really building around, because that's what's been the problem anyway. You have to lock in and build around Zion some point in time. You just waited so long to do that, which I don't really understand it. But one thing that I did want to say as far as with Brandon, because if you think last season, Brandon was really trying to make a splash. He was really trying, like that's why he went and played for FIBA. He got picked up by Jordan, went into the season. Borrego talked about how they were going to put the ball in his hands. That was last season was actually a big season for Brandon that basically flopped. And then you
Yeah.
look at how the season ended, because he knew that he was up for an extension.
He played himself though, Lex.
Yeah, he did.
He played because he bet on himself. Because the money was there before, and he elected to bank on himself this year. It was a gamble 50-50.
Yeah.
He was on the wrong side of it, but go ahead. You're right.
No, but I look at that, and now, again, he's going into the season. Pelicans don't want to pay him that. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? Right now, his demand is not very high. So he's going into the season, again, in the same situation. I got to prove myself. I really got to, make a point to get that 50 million. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is a concern, because if you think about the mentality, that same mentality that he's going in for this season, he went for last season, and look what happened. But not only that, I look at, how is Trey Murphy gonna grow? I feel like by the Pelicans not really making a move, that kind of hurts the progression and growth of Trey Murphy, because we know Trey Murphy's not going to get the minutes. They're probably going to be similar to last season, barring any injuries, because we know if somebody gets injured, he steps in. But it's like, when are we going to really allow him to grow into where he needs to be at? Because and then in that same breath, now you have DeJounte Murray. You still have CJ McCollum. You got Brandon. You still got Zion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the thing is, and I don't even know if he is going to be a third option. You know what I'm saying? We saw how it was when McCollum, and I mean, really, when the start of the season started, they put the ball in his hands. So they treated him like the first option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then as the season went on, things started to change. But I'm concerned about that. I'm really concerned about that, like, because that mentality is still there. Because he's been saying it. I got something to prove. And Brandon saying he got something to prove is a concern for me, because it's like, dog, who is that? Who is that hurting? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is that taking away from? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's taking a back seat so that you can prove yourself? And it can very well look like the way that it was this past season. It can still look like that. Because if Brandon's trying to do a whole bunch of ISO, y'all see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not helping the team. And it's definitely not helping him. So that's a concern that I have. Like when he says, yeah, I got something to prove. I'm like, dude, you had something to prove last season. And then last season, he said that he wasn't fully bought in. So now that the situation is changing, you got DeJounte, dog, your position and your role is going to change again. How are you going to embrace that? How are you going to digest that? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to do that? And also knowing you're trying to get that 50 mil? You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
almost
that's a good point, Lex.
it's an oxymoron, like golly, man. I don't know what that means, but it is a concern. It's a huge concern.
Yeah, that's a great point because that's why it's a ultra imperative that we let DeJounte floor general because as a floor general, he'll feed the hot hand, and you see players with the hot hand, other players got to respect it. The guy got it going. You got to feed the beast. That's how it goes. So, like if it was any of this other stuff, like with BI having the ball in his hand to prove, because like I said, the players have egos. And like with Brandon Ingram, I said this before, Brandon Ingram spent a lot of time as option one for the Pelicans because Zion Williamson wasn't there. But BI was there. So when he talk about money and what he feels he's valued, he talking about all of the work that he put in since he's been here. That's what he's talking, not just last year and how he looked last year. He's talking about it all. So, I mean,
I tell DC, I'm like, look, man, the way this league works, you're as good as your last hit. Like they're not looking like 2 years ago how you were. Take Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? Klay Thompson, a champion, was doing well a few years before he got injured. He got injured, was out, came back. He wasn't the same. So
yeah,
do you think they're going to pay him? Now, they did pay him. You know
they
what I'm
pay.
saying? They did. And then when it came up for extension, it's like, dog, your numbers are down. Your performance is down.
Mhm,
You're not where you were years ago. They can't pay. And this dude is a champion. He's
mhm,
part of the core. So the thing is like, are you paying him according to what he was 3 years ago? You can't do that. You keep getting older.
mhm.
You keep getting older. So the thing is like, dude, we're going to assess what you did last season. Like, we're going to have you come off the bench for Podziemski. He didn't like that. So when you look at it from that point, and that's why I always say that, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Literally, you're as good as your last hit. How did you perform on last season? Dude, you didn't perform great. I can't pay you that money, man. I mean, you're not that guy you were 3 years ago. And that's how they look at things going forward, because that the season before allows teams to look at how the direction that they need to go in going into next season. And so, they had to do that. And I mean, I understand, Clay's standpoint on it. It's like, man, I've been here, I produce, but hey man, it's not like they did not pay him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They gave him an extension while he was injured. They gave him a lot of money. He wasn't even playing. And they did that based off of, hey, you're a champion. You've been here. We drafted you. We're trying to take care of you. They showed that. But it's like, dude, you can't expect us to keep doing this. I mean, it is a business. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know you look, I know you're looking for a retirement plan, but dude, I mean, you still have to perform at a certain level to get that money. So
Absolutely. Shout out to the flock, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man. Talking Pels, man. It's afternoon, man. Much love to you guys. Appreciate you being here. We hit that hour and a half mark. So big ups to the fam, man. We're gonna get ready to open up the phone lines. Shout out to you guys. It's Big Q, Lex, and DC. DC, are you there, sir? How you doing?
what up, DC?
What's happening, family?
How
Doing
you
pretty
doing?
good. I'm doing pretty good now, man. I'm good. How
Your
y'all?
mic's right, brother. Your mic sound pretty good this morning. You're not frying
Yeah.
pineapples this morning, are you?
I'm not driving right now.
You know what?
Oh,
You
thank
beat
you,
me
brother.
to it. I was gonna say.
Shout out to my boy DC, man. Shout out to my guy DC. He in the building as well. Big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all in here. Shout out to Steph. Steph had a question, man. I wanted to kind of hit a few questions, man. A few comments from family members. Steph says, "Do y'all think Bi will have a better season this year?" You want to take this one, DC? Lex, you can feel free to chime in too. What you think?
Absolutely. Like, I know we look at Bi, the magnifying glasses on what he did last season, especially at the end of the season. But even during that season, last season, he had a lot of high points as well as some low points. But one thing I've constantly looked at would be if you look at his play with the Lakers, up and down, he goes on these stretches where he puts up 20-point games. Everybody's like, okay, he could be that guy. He gets involved in the trade with us. He has the blood clots, right? And then they pair him with Lonzo, which I mean, he was paired with Lonzo with the Lakers, but they didn't play together a lot. Lonzo was always hurt. He was getting hurt. LeBron didn't want him. Dale Demps leaked the trade, messed up the whole chemistry of the team, right? He comes here, and you have Lonzo Ball and Drew Holiday. Lonzo can't really break down the defense, but he's an excellent passer. Whether that's like hockey assists or just initiating the offense, creating a good pass. Drew Holiday was breaking people down. Drew was our point guard a lot of times. We had him play point guard and shoot guard. He was combo guard. So you had two guys that can take the pressure off of a guy like Bi, get him the ball in his spots where he likes it, and then on top of that, the defenses are going to look different because you have them along with Zion. So now we have DeJounte Murray. Whether you start CJ or not, Herb is an excellent cutter. You got DeJounte, who's actually a top tier facilitator, probably the best facilitating point guard we had since Rondo. I would say he's better than Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, a little more flashy, and I guess you could look at some of his passes and be like, oh, can DeJounte throw a 3/4 half court alley? I don't know. But he can damn sure throw an entry pass, right? We've had problems with that for years. You know what I'm saying? So Bi is going to be able to not have as much pressure on him and not have to take as many tough shots. Although I think some of us would agree some of the tough shots he takes are forced, and he didn't have to take them to begin with. But
Yeah.
there's more talent on the court, and whether Willie Green maximizes the rotations or has the lineups go correctly or not, it has to be an easier game for Bi. Even if he doesn't want to play in the Florida offense like we want him to, shoot more threes and all of that, it's still going to be an easier game for him just because of the talent that's out there and the ability to be able to get him the ball. And I think CJ, when he is in the game playing his shooting guard role, CJ is a formidable combo guard. Like we can't act like CJ's chopped liver. So him not having to be the main initiator or playmaker, I think will allow his passing to even, be highlighted or looked a little better. Once somebody like DeJounte maybe could break down the defense, and let's say if he kicked it out to CJ, he passed up a 3-point shot. Can you imagine the pass going to Bi or Zion? But if it goes to Bi, imagine what the defense is going to look like at that point. So I think Bi has an excellent season. I don't know what that turns into far as the Pelicans, because him having an excellent season, we still got a question mark at center. I like Carlo, but we don't know what Carlo's going to be in the regular season. But it'd be amazing if he could be the starting center, right? Missy makes a jump. If not, you got Tice, who I would say is a starting center still at this point, and you just don't know what that's going to look like as far as winning. But I think Bi personally, he's going to average at least 25 points because they're going to want him to average that, because we sign him back, or if he's on the expiring or whatever, we're still gonna be looking to trade him. So they're gonna make sure he has a good season. So I say yes.
What you think, Lex?
Basically what I said. The mentality is similar to last year. You know, BI has something to prove, so it is a concern because we don't know what that looks like. That could be more iso ball. But one thing, and somebody pointed this out because I was going to point it out. But Michael De Blasio, is that your? I hope that's how you say your name. But he says, I remember in FIBA, BI looked lost playing with all those other stars, and that opened his eyes. Um, that's another thing. When BI's around a lot of talent, you know, is he going to respond? Because, you know, if you think about it, with that team, he was probably the most decorated out of everybody. Like he was a top pick. I mean, Anthony Edwards, he was a top pick as well, but most improved player. BI was an all-star at that time, but he was very highly touted. And as far as with the net rating, he ended being like the second to last like player as far like worst player on that team amongst all that talent. Like he could never find his place. So, and I know it's a different if it's a different totally different team, totally different strategy. But you know, that's the thing about, you know, being a star is being able to find your place. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one thing that BI struggle with, you know, even in the series against the Thunder, whereas Willie, and I don't agree with this, but in the same breath when he pointed out, hey, you know, he's gonna be dealing with that. He's gotta find a way to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And Willie wasn't really helping, you know what I'm saying, to give him guidance. And again, that's what I was pointing out earlier. Being able to position your players, help them. You know what I'm saying? If you know, to put them in a position to succeed. He didn't do that for Brandon. I don't even think he even tried. He was like, figure it out, Brandon. And so even with that being said, just figuring it out, because I mean, obviously BI was actually going away from contact in that game. But you know, he struggled on trying to find, you know, to be successful. And a lot of guys who really, you know, have like, look, I'm determined. I have that you know, that prowess about my game where I'm gonna get whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't show that. The physicality was definitely a problem. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, even with DeJounte, because again, now you have another guy who can handle the rock. DeJounte's very talented. You know what I'm saying? He can create his own shot. He does have a shot on him. He has that defensive prowess. And then you know, just add that. I mean, if you look at the wings, the backcourt, it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out. But it's kind of hard to say on how he's going to respond, just based off of how he's responded in the past, being around very talented guys. So
Indeed. Shout out to
I got one question though.
hold on, DC. Just a second, my brother.
Okay, my bad. We got to do the. Go
You
ahead.
want to read? Can you see?
Hold on, what's it?
Go
I
ahead,
don't know
DC.
why everybody acting like Bi wasn't injured. Wasn't injured in the playoffs. Bi dropped 30+ points on Dort 2 times in a row during the regular season. Bi had no blow by speed. He had the mummy first step cue to get to the paint because he was still injured. And that's shout out to the power, man. Appreciate the $30. That's what I was gonna ask you, Lex. You're absolutely right what you're saying, and people aren't wrong to feel that way. But I think it's just we just forget this is it's pretty common with BI. Now the Team USA thing, that is what it is. And I've seen players that are good go to Team USA, and it's pretty much an afterthought. I don't think it's the end of the world, but the way it went and him getting benched and he was starting at first, yeah, that'll definitely think kill your ego, and that is embarrassing, and it shouldn't be. But I've seen guys not play in that style of basketball. But with Bi being hurt, like that doesn't mean anything. Like we watched Bi play the Thunder in the playing series a year before, and Lou Dort was not a problem. They definitely had an issue. Well, we played them this year. They did us pretty bad. Bi didn't score good, so they became a better team. So I'm not gonna say their defense didn't have anything to do with it, but him being injured and obviously not looking like himself, other than the Sacramento game. We look at the Sacramento games, we just dominated them all year. But even the Lakers game, where he got benched, still it was the same thing. So I look at it as that version of him. I don't think that's what we're gonna see during the season. So even with that and with other players, I mean, we're looking at it as if more stars around him is gonna make him, I guess, not as good, or he can't rise up to another level because he isn't able to play with more talent. Like that's the perspective, or we're saying Bi is just not that guy because of how he played coming off an injury. He was 100% healthy, and this is just him. Because when I watched him in the Thunder series, he didn't look like himself. Like, and I don't mean because he wasn't scoring. I'm just talking about how he was moving. He didn't have the same burst, the same speed, the same. He wasn't getting off the ground like that. He was ginger a little bit, but he was out there playing. Most times, let's say we would play well, it's just crazy how narratives go. If we would have played well, Bi would have been commended for playing through injury and trying to stick it out. And he didn't have his best, but he was out there. Let's say we won 2 games or so, and he still averaged 14 points, but we won 2 games. The narrative would be totally different on Bi. Just like the fact that Bi is injury prone and he misses all of these games. Yet we saw Mikal Bridges, who just got traded to the Knicks. Over the last 3 years, Bi played more games than him. But the narrative is Bi is injury prone and he never plays. But Mikal Bridges don't have that title at all. So it's just, I don't know, man. I think some of it is some of it, not all of it, because what people are saying and what it is what it is. I mean, that shit ain't acceptable, what we saw. And you want your star player to be able to do more than that. But everybody can't be Kobe and Michael Jordan, and Bi ain't that. His mentor is Kevin Durant, and we've seen Kevin Durant choke all the time when all the pressure has been put on him. He's done nothing legendary without other people, and other than almost beat the Milwaukee Bucks with his foot on the line. That was the most legendary thing I've seen from Kevin Durant. That one game. A whole bunch of other games during the playoffs, he disappeared, and he was healthy. So this is Bi is KD light. So it's a similar thing, but we don't think he's gonna play well this year, or he's gonna regress and be worse because of the addition of a point guard. When he himself at the end of the press conference during the season said things would be a lot different if we had a point guard.
All right. Shout out to DC. DC, you did a wonderful job reading that super chat, brother. Thank you for that. And shout out to the Power, man, for
I don't need a shout out for that. I'm
okay.
okay.
It's a compliment, DC. It's all right.
I'm okay. I don't need a compliment. Your compliments are usually followed by insults, so just keep it.
I didn't say nothing, brother. What you talking about? All right, the Power, man. Thank you for that super chat, man. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate it. Y'all hit the like button, man. We hit the like button. Narby says, Nardi says, a great perspective that DC and gives you the strong arm treatment. There you go. All right, shout out to DC, man. But anyway, listen, this is we got the 2 things. Number one, we have the lines of communication open up for you guys. The link is pinned to the chat if you want to pop in on the Pelican Talk. We won't be going long today because it's Saturday. I had a long stream last night. Plus, I got to do some cooking. You know how I do. But there's also, you can pop in and chime in today. The link is pinned to the chat. And there's a poll in the chat as well, man. I want to hear what you guys say about this poll in the chat. It says, who starts at the 5 for the Pels this season? And there's 3 options. It's Jeeves Misi, Daniel Tice, and Carlo Mekovic. You guys tell me who will be your starting 5 in this upcoming season. And we've had some voters, and right now, if you want to look at it, Carlo Mekovic is dominating the poll right now. 62% of the pollers are saying Carlo Mekovic should be the guy. Now I dropped to 59%. So all you guys listening, man, getting that poll, tell me what you guys think. Who should
Little
be?
D-man said Carlito.
There you go, Carlito. All right,
Carlito Mekovic's way.
It's not much of a competition, though. You know what I'm saying?
what you think, Lex? What you think? Who you think should be the number 5?
Right now, everything's pointing to Colin Makovich. How tall is he?
6'10".
Let's got to put them measurements on him.
6'10".
Hey, I'm telling
Hey,
you.
he's 7 feet. He's 7 feet shoes, Lex.
Yeah, are we rounding up?
He's 7 feet with shoes on, baby.
Misi's a developmental project, and Tice is 6'9". Come on, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's no competition, you guys. I mean, shoot. Like, I'm just saying.
Hey, Tice 6'11" with shoes on, Lex. No, actually he's 6'8". So
Hey,
that put
but
him
when he
at
raises his
about
hands on
6'10"
defense,
with shoes on.
when he raises his hands on defense, he even taller than that. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like there's like major competition for him. I mean, the spot is basically like calling his name, because that's all the Pelicans had. Because Misi's not ready. I can tell you that right now, and I think anybody would agree. He's not ready right now.
Well,
do we feel like these guys would look better with adequate point guard play? I'm not sure on either one of them because I don't know what a true assessment of how they could actually look with the talent that we have.
Well,
like Misi shows a lot of flashes defensively. I think defensively we're not going to be as mad as we think at Misi's, although we might be a little pissed with him missing some rebounds. But Carlo, defensively, he's coming around too. But he's a question mark there. His offensive game, I think, will be good and could fit along Zion. His shot looks very fluid, man. And he looks comfortable taking those threes. So we definitely got a type of a stretch 5. But those guys, what they played with in the summer league, like that roster was horrible. Other than Reeves, Ford, and those 2, I mean, I ain't really see shit. Like that roster was trash. So with better players, especially with bigs, you don't think they look a lot better? Or a guy like Mekovic could challenge for the starting spot? Or Misi.
You mean Makovich or Misi?
Either one. Like I think to me it's a question mark. That's why I say Daniel Tice is a starting center because he's the most proven.
Well, I think Tice is going to play more minutes because I think you have to, I think we're focused on a start, who's going to be the starter. But really, it's more so who's going to get the most minutes between those 3. Now, I do believe Tice is going to get a lot of those minutes. He's going to get like starter minutes. But to start games, I think, for matchup purposes, starting Makovich would probably be best. Well, I guess it would also depend on, the matchup. But
he's our biggest center, so I guess you got a point there.
Yeah, and then you have to think.
But he got the skills of a closer. You don't think, Lex? I think Makovic's skill set more fits being a closer than a starter. His skill set.
I mean, again,
he looked like he could be a better stretch than Tice.
We know how Willie's gonna think. I mean, because Tice is 6'9". He has experience. He was in the finals with the Celtics against the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? So experience wise, I think Daniel Tice will be out there. But as far as matchup purposes, and you still have a big who can move pretty well, it's more than likely gonna be Makovich, because Makovich, between him and Messi, Makovich has more professional experience because he played as a pro overseas.
Yeah.
So
The legend.
I mean that experience and having that height, you know what I'm saying, is definitely gonna help Makovich out. Because really, Messi needs reps. He needs reps. He just needs to play. So I think he'll be between the G League and being on the team. I'm not saying he won't get any opportunities, but in order for someone who hasn't played basketball for a long time, and you're talking about the way the team is set up, the Pelicans are set up to win now, right? Can we all
Yes.
agree on that?
Oh yeah.
We're designed to win now. So the thing is, if we're designed to win now, you're not trying to take one player, put them in a starting position in their developmental project. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You want some type of experience there. But I do feel like Tice is going to get the bulk of those minutes, though, because Willie Green does like small ball.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
6'9",
but
so that fits it though. 6'9", DC.
is it really like Willie Green likes small ball as far as being small, or he looks at them
Come
being
on,
like
DC. I
mobile?
know you. Come on, man.
Wait, hold up. I got
Hold
somewhere I'm
on.
going with this.
Hold on. What's the question
Got
again?
somewhere.
What's the question?
Does Willie Green really like small ball, or does he really just like his center to be mobile and able to be switchable? So if we
I,
have a guy like
But
I say both.
Macy's
yeah,
or
it's
or,
a combination of
It's
both.
both.
or
It's both.
well, I
DC.
mean, he can stretch the floor. Meritage is mobile. He can switch. He's very fluid. You could say the same thing about Macy's. Macy's is probably our most mobile center, but he can't stretch the floor. So if one of those guys emerges as what they can be, right? Will Willie not be inclined to play them just because they're too tall to be a small ball
No,
center?
no. I don't think I don't think the height has to do it. If he
Yeah,
had a big
small ball.
7-foot center that could run the floor, DC, and do what he wants, I think he plays him. But
Right. So I don't think he gonna give it to Tice if those other guys look better. Like, so I really don't, because we got two guys that look mobile.
and listen,
But
DC
we are
took
talking about Willie
So
Green
you
here,
don't
so
think Tice is mobile?
we gotta be prepared for the worst.
Tice ain't super athletic, but he moves pretty well for a guy that's
Yeah, and plus
only
he's really smart. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, he is.
knows how to
Yeah, he
position
is.
himself. You know what I'm saying?
Merchants is smart too. I've seen him doing a lot of intelligent stuff out there with stupid
No,
basketball
I'm
players.
not saying I don't say that because I'm saying somebody else is stupid. I'm saying when you look at Tice, okay? No, for real. Tice has been a part of winning organizations, and he's gotten playing time, you know what I'm saying, with winning basketball. So the
Right.
thing is that that's what makes him so special, is because you have a guy, he's played with the Celtics. He was just in the finals against the Warriors. I mean, he was out there,
Mhm.
and he was playing meaningful minutes. That experience, especially if the Pelicans are trying to get to a winning foundation, not just in regular season, but beyond that, that's going to be very key.
Also, just to add, I think this is the stat of the show. This is the stat of the show. I'm gonna drop it on y'all about Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice also shoots the 3 ball, DC.
Oh yeah,
At,
only one a
at,
game though. One
no,
or 1.5 a game.
it's last year.
About the same, a little bit more than Big V. Not much.
Last year for the Clippers, he shot 73 pointers. He hit 26 of them for 37.1% from downtown. So that is the stat of the show, that Daniel Tice shoots the 3 at 37%.
You gotta
Not
shoot
bad.
2 or 3 a game, bro. You gotta
Not
shoot 2
bad.
or 3 a game.
Now his foul shots ain't all that. He's about 76% flat from the foul line, but he shoots 37% from
Well,
downtown.
that 3-point percentage is gonna come down, ain't you?
But
That
you know
was a
what?
blip on the radar. It's gonna be more like 34.
Hey, but you know what? That's not the first time though. DC, he shot the three ball pretty decently. Shot it almost 39% when he was in the second year with Boston. But you know,
Okay.
like yeah, he was
How many attempts? How many attempts was that?
67%. I mean 67, but
No,
he was
67 attempts.
67 attempts. He was 26 of 67 for almost 39%. That's his second year in the league.
Is
And
that enough to make the defense like respect him out there? As far as the attempts, the
I don't,
percentage, yeah, but the attempts.
I don't think they'll respect
Okay,
him.
you going? Hey, Daniel Tice made his 3 for the game, y'all. We could just leave him off there now. Like I
Nah,
don't
but
think it does much. They
but
gotta
not
fear it for it to do something. Like I remember you had a guy like maybe Robert Covington who's still in free agency. He shot like 5 or 6 threes, a game as a stretch five. Need more attempts. At least 3, I say, to put some fear in them. Like we could look at what a guy like Miles Turner shoots or Porzingis, uh, to get the stretch five benefit. And I'm only saying that because if Daniel Tice is going to be a starter, for him to get consistent minutes as a starter and for us to like it, he gonna have to be a little bit of a threat from the 3-point line, just enough to at least be respectable to where the defense don't feel comfortable just letting him shoot those, for
right.
it to have its purpose offensively, which that's really my main concern. As far as our big rebounding, if we can rebound good as a team, I think a lot of this stuff with centers, like it's until we play certain teams, we could get by because we play really excellent defense and don't allow people to get to the hole that much. But when you got like an excellent point guard and they go to putting us in that pick and roll, oh, they be killing us. Kid. They be
Mhm.
killing us with that pick and roll. Or what you call it, unintelligent switching. But other than that, our defensive philosophy actually works pretty well. We're I think probably top 5 in the league of people getting to the rim. We don't allow a lot of people to get to the rim. So ice out there, people not getting to the rim, but on offense it's still 4-on-5 with a clogged lane. I don't know, bro. Hopefully one of these guys can figure it out. It's pretty much a toss up, though, to be honest. This is a good conversation because I don't think any one of us knows who's really going to be the start center, regardless of what we say. Because it's a question mark till we see the preseason at least.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, DC. I'm checking out the poll right now, and it's Carlo Mekovic all the way. A lot of people, 60% of the
I,
polls,
I'm
Mekovic.
with Carlo, man. Carlo looked like a better 3-point shooter than Tice to me right now. I don't know how that look in live cam action, but I ain't seen Daniel Tice survey the floor, take a step back and pull up a 3, and it look clean. I ain't seen Tice do that, bro. Carlo looked comfortable out there. He looked like how he look in the Euro League, but it is the summer league, so this shit might look totally different come time against the real NBA players.
Yeah, it always is a difference, bro. Let's talk. Pelicans Noel is asking, says DC, what do you think about Jordan Hawkins in the summer league? Let's
Uh,
do let's move it there because I wanted to kind of do that too. I wanted to kind of put a
okay.
bowl summer league, bro. So go ahead and drop that and then give kind of your recap on what you thought about the summer league.
I think the summer league for as a whole was a success, and I'll say that later. But far as Jordan Hawkins, I mean, it's a slight concern, not really, because Hawk is gonna be playing with guys way better that fits his skill set. On the team. We all looking at him shooting, and we like, oh, his shooting was off. His shooting wasn't as good. But you know what I did notice about Hawk? He played way better defensively, and nobody don't even talk about it. Didn't even mention it. He had games where he had 2 and 3 steals, couple of blocks. He was out there rebounding. I've seen a few times. I think Hawk might have led the team in rebounds or damn near. So all the little stuff that he got to improve on to get on the court, I think I saw that. Now, I look at a guy like Reeves, and honestly, I'm like, damn, Reeves kind of do the little shit better than Hulk, But Hulk in his shot and what he can be offensively, I don't think we should be worried. I think him shooting and not scoring the way he did. Think about this, family. His slight is defense. Doesn't play good defense, right? He's giving his all on defense, and then he trying to score. Man, and he leading the team. As the scorer, that is a tough thing to do. You're asking the guy who we see as an offensive player. Hawk went to summer league and was trying to be a goddamn two-way guy. He trying to be the best he could be on defense and on offense. His offense is obviously gonna take a hit just from that. And then you add in the fact they got the man playing point guard. He is an off-ball scorer, and they got him out there playing point guard, which I know some people disagree with. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because you got to get him used to having pressure in that way. You want to help him to improve his dribbling by any means in live game action. I understand why they kind of did it. And then on top of that, when he wasn't playing point guard, until they decided to start forward, I don't know why they wasn't starting from the beginning. We really had nothing at the point guard position, man. Reeves was probably our second round pick was probably the best, dribbler, initiator and penetrator out there, other than Ford. And you had Hawk doing that, so I think Jordan Hawkins will be fine if he can come in with the same defensive mindset he had in the summer league. I think his offense will come around. He'll get used to playing with that physicality. But from now till when the season starts, I need Hawk in the goddamn weight room. He got to gain at least 10 pounds of muscle, man. 5, 10, something. He needs some more muscle on him because they was just pushing him around. And I think he was getting worn down, beat down. And his offense looked the way it was because, dude was probably wore out and tired.
Yeah, that was I was saying that when I was watching him too, man. He definitely got to get stronger, man. He looked just like he had his rookie body, basically, out there. So he definitely got to pick up some muscle, man, so they don't move him like they did. All right, shout out to the fam, man. We're gonna get ready to kind of close out in about 15 minutes, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Any questions, please feel free to fire them at us right now. Power says Summer League is not important because it's just to pick up ball. At the end of the day, Jordan Hawkins will be fine. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Stacy says if the Summer League wasn't important, there wouldn't be 4 undefeated teams and plenty teams 3-1. Also, you practice trial and error sets and plays. Thank you, Stacy. Appreciate you. Lil V Man says, man, the Pels. No, it's Maine. Is it Maine? DC? Maine. The Pels just got to work on turnovers, though, man. It's childish to see. All right. Thank you, Lil V Man. Jared says the lob was always open. And what's up, Irvin? Shout out to my boy Irvin, man. He says, I think the thought process was to see if Hawk had the ability to be a backup point guard this season.
I hope not.
No, he can't. With that, he's going back to his off guard role. That's an interesting perspective right there.
Really? You think they wanted to see him be I don't know, Irvin. You would want Hawk to maximize just having him play the point guard role and look at the game that way. That make him a better off ball scorer. I just think they wanted to get him reps like that.
Listen to what he's saying though, because that's very interesting in what he's saying, because how is Jordan Hawkins going to get minutes off the second line? If not, that was the reason to kind of see if he could play that role. Because how is he going to get minutes, DC, coming up here?
Well, if he can play his defense, I think they can give him minutes at the 2 or the 3. Okay, if he can play defense like that.
Okay, give me your second line. Give me your second line.
Well, shit, we don't know who the first line gonna be.
Well, just try. Okay, just try.
But I would say Jose, and then if Herb not starting, some people would say Herb at the 2 or the 3. Me personally, I put Hawk at the 2, have Herb at the 3, and then you got Trey. If he not starting, I don't know. I'm predicting CJ to be in the starting lineup. I think a lot of people are thinking about, Hawk not gonna be able to play because CJ is gonna be the shooting guard from the bench. I can tell you right now, I'm willing to bet that shit ain't gonna happen. You know,
That
so
CJ
that's
gonna
why
be
that's why I don't see it. Now, if CJ was on the bench like everybody's thinking, then I see the thought process. Because Jose is getting minutes, man. Jose was actually a better player than Hawk, all last year, and he had a terrific, run out there in the summer, Team Puerto Rico, and Jose was one of our best players on the floor when we played our best basketball against the Lakers, in a very meaningful game. So
yeah, Jose's
I see
gotten
the
better.
I see the vision. I just don't see CJ coming off the bench. So why wouldn't Hawk be the two? Because Herb can definitely
I
be the
see his
three,
ass,
and we see Trey play power forward all the time.
I see his ass coming up off the bench.
Who? CJ?
Yes.
Man, they out there trotting that shit around, talking about how amazing he gonna be with DeJounte Murray. I don't see it, Q.
No.
I don't see him coming off the bench, bro. Herb
No.
makes $40,000 over 4 years, bro. They is not about to not put him on the bench uh for a guy who make his whole damn salary in 1 year.
I'm not caught up
I
on that.
want Herb to start. I get it. But ain't what's about to happen.
Yeah, but I'm not caught
If
up
it
on it.
does, then
I still say this.
Irvin is right. We got an issue because
I
how you
still
gonna give Hawk minutes?
I still say Herb starts. I say Herb and Murray starts in the backcourt. CJ comes off the bench. He still gets
Yeah, because that's what
starter
you want to see.
minutes.
That's smart basketball wise.
Right, but
That's what you want to see.
he still gets starter minutes. He still gets good minutes off the bench as a sixth man. So I don't think the starter thing is as big as a lot of people are hitting on. Because DeJounte Murray and Herb, that is going to be a top 5 backcourt, man, in the game, man. If you think about it, man, that's going to be an excellent backcourt for
I
the
think they complement each other excellently too with their ability to probably play off one another. They're already hanging out together. I think they're gonna really get along. So their
Yes.
chemistry is gonna be extremely high.
He shouted them out. DC, he was the first one he shouted out.
First
Shout out
one.
to Herb Jones. I'm going to take care of him.
He a real one.
He a real one. He said him first. And Herb,
DeJounte Murray gonna go out his way to get her easy looks.
that's right. Like I said, man, this is going to be good. This is going to be a good. That's why I was like, I like
And
Herb.
Herb is an excellent cutter. I think that don't get talked about or looked at. It. Herb is really good off the ball as far as cutting and slashing. He's really, really good, bro.
That's right.
And he can be an initiator of offense, which we don't take advantage of enough. When Herb initiates the offense, it's not a lot of turnovers and stuff. It don't look flashy or like it ain't about to make Sports Center the way he does it, but he's a good initiator, man, and handling the ball and getting it to teammates. So I agree. But the only thing is where it's like, so if we start Herb, right, I think automatically by default, if you're maximizing Zion and you're gonna start Herb, you have to start Trey. But they're not gonna do that. They're gonna
They
start
ain't gonna do
Bi.
that. They ain't gonna do that, DC.
That's
They're not,
why I'm telling you it's
not gonna
not
do that.
gonna happen. Because if you start Bi, we gotta have a 3-point assassin out there somewhere with Zion. If you start Herb, you start Ingram, you start Zion, who's our 3-point assassin? Carlo? You know what I'm saying? Like DeJounte could hit threes. Yeah, he shoots 5
And Herb
a
shoots
game
three.
or whatever. Herb can shoot threes, but
Herb shoots three.
they're not. I don't consider them assassins from behind
No,
3-point line.
no, they're not.
Somebody like CJ or Trey, man, that scare the shit out the defense if they see them dudes open for a 3-pointer. That'll scare the defense to make them not leave them open. I think they'll take their chances a lot of times, and they probably would lose. Some nights just leaving Herb open. If Herb hit it from the corner, man, that's baby Ray Allen Q from the corner.
I know.
You put him anywhere else though,
But
not so much.
that was the idea what Irvin was hitting on. He was talking about Jordan Hawkins some kind of way getting into the second lineup because you have to add him in there because of his shooting ability. You need to get those guys, Treys and the Hawkins. You have to give them minutes. And what's your bench rotation if that's the case? What is it looking like? Is Jordan Hawkins among the 4 or 5 guys coming up off the bench in the second line? So you make
He
a great
has to
point
be.
about the guy. Well, I mean, but you have to figure that out. Willie Green
He
has to
got to
figure.
be some type of way, man. I mean, even if they just throw him at the 3, they gonna have to put him out there. Because
Mm.
what are the alternatives? The
Well,
positions don't fit with
but that's what a lot of people
CJ
was
Starks,
saying.
but like, what's the alternative?
A lot of people were saying that though. A lot of people were saying that's why they're upset about Griffin not pulling the trigger on the trade situation when BI's market was red hot, as he said it. Pulling the trade because it gums up the work.
Last off season?
Yes.
Because it was red hot last off season. And let's be honest, we did the show here. They had a few people that are looking very intelligent now, saying, when they was talking about trading them for school, and the year before that it was what, KD, or was that the same thing? The same year was School? I can't remember. But either way,
Hold on, you talking about BI or Zion?
BI. They was talking about trading BI for Scoot Henderson. Q, come on now. That's
Oh,
last year, bro.
no.
That was last off season, brother. And then they also had rumors before Kevin Durant. I think that was last off season too. I think it was the
I
same year
remember that. Yeah, I
of
remember that.
of BI for KD. And
I remember
everybody,
that.
the majority of people, I say it was probably like a 60-40 split. And with the majority, like, keep BI, don't trade him.
I don't.
As much as I love to dog Griffin, I
I
think he
thought
should
it.
have traded him at the
Now I remember.
deadline. We kind of halfway
I
through the
remember.
season, we all kind of was like, I don't know, I don't think it's ever
I,
gonna
I
work.
remember. I remember Bi KD talk. I don't remember Brandon Ingram from Scoot Henderson. I thought that was attached to Zion Williamson. That's what I'm getting when I think.
No, that was Brandon Ingram, brother.
Okay.
They was throwing Zion. They was throwing Zion name out there too, but
It's just
they was throwing both of their names out there.
internet is worldwide, brother. So all I have to do is punch it in, right? See if
Go
it'll
ahead,
come
punch
up.
it in. Look it up.
All right. Let me see. Let me just see if this is DC's first attempt at crazy pineapple
Because
talk.
what pick did Charlotte have?
Hold on, DC. I'm trying to figure it out if this is facts.
What pick did Charlotte have? Because they had floating the idea of him going to Charlotte, like Charlotte drafting Scoot for the Pelicans instead of Brandon Miller, so they could get Bi over there instead of Brandon Miller. I remember that like it was yesterday because I thought it was crazy as shit. I'm like, man, I ain't trading Bi for no damn Scoot Henderson. I don't know what the hell Scoot Henderson gonna be. Bi is proven. Now they did have some reports that threw Zion out there too, and it was floating it primarily to Charlotte.
I remember
with the
the
number 2 pick. Because number 1, damn, I can't remember who went number 1. Or Wembanyama, that's right. So number 1 was locked up. So it was all this discussion about Charlotte. A lot of it was Charlotte.
right.
Obviously, we had the Blazers too, but a lot of it was Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
Because Bi made sense in Charlotte or the Blazers, as
Okay.
well as Zion.
Okay, I remember the Zion stuff at the. I don't remember the scoop.
Yeah, because that one was even more outrageous than Bi.
Yeah, that was. But all them insiders were saying that, man. They were saying, "Oh, Zion Williams, no, it's smoke behind." I'm like, man, shut up. That's not gonna happen.
I ain't
Nobody
trading no damn Zion for Scoot Henderson. Like, come on, man, y'all crazy. We would have drafted Brandon Miller before Scoot Henderson, and we like that's stupid. Then Brandon Miller from Alabama. I'm looking at it like, so we trading Bi for Brandon Miller because there ain't no way we gonna do Scoot. I know we need a point guard, but
Till says you agree. He says both Bi and Zion were mentioned at a point on a point.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Till. Appreciate you. All right. I didn't remember that, man, but shout out to y'all guys who do. That's why the flocking fam is up in here, dropping some scoop, getting the facts together.
So, but wait, we're getting away from the point a little bit.
No, I was about to see if it was CPT from DC. That's what I was trying to figure out if that was.
Hey, I was on Color People Time today. I was late. I'm sorry.
No,
But
crazy.
anyway, no, I was Color People Time. I was late. But anyway, the point was, at that point in time, Bi had a high trade market. because you had those teams going for that, and then they had mentions of Kevin Durant at some point. So I know they had other deals out there too, and a lot of us were like, "Man, I don't want to trade Bi." That's a Pelicans Nola. I see you, brother. Best one of them all, Bi for Jason Tatum. Yeah, but Anthony Davis messed that up. That wasn't on the Pels. AD said he wasn't going to extend with them people. But
Actually, that was actually his manager told him that. Remember that? He came out and what was the guy named Rich Paul? Rich Paul contacted the Boston Celtics and told them, and basically everybody, and he said that he wanted that Anthony Davis wanted to be a Laker, and that anybody who trades for him, he will not re-up with you. He won't sign a deal with you. He put him out there. And he poison peeled the deal. That's pretty much what Rich Paul did. But go ahead, DC, finish your part, bro.
smart. So at that point in time, man, everybody was happy with Bi not being traded. So I can't look at. I mean, you could look at it and say he should have, but we weren't even on board. Now the one that got me was the same guy they clamoring about right now that they dying to get. They could have got at the trade deadline, Jared Allen. You could have traded Bi for Jared Allen during the season and avoided this whole thing.
Well,
That's the one.
Pelicans like it complicated.
We could have had him at the trade deadline. I heard a lot of stuff on that saying that was real, and we could have had him, but they didn't want to give up Bi for Jared Allen. They wanted to get Jared Allen here with Bi. But hindsight is all 2020 because you're looking at giving up Bi for Jared Allen. So you're going with a core of Jared Allen, Zion, and CJ.
Exactly.
We didn't have DeJounte Murray.
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of could see it because I don't know if this is gonna work. But at the same time, I also was like, man, if we do that, we probably blowing up the season because Jared Allen is not gonna make us go on this strong playoff push from just getting him. We don't really have a secondary scorer. CJ is third scorer, or you could say Trey was that, but Trey was having a down year at that point. He didn't come on till like the last 28 games of the season and start playing awesome. So it was, really a catch-22, man. They definitely, I say we should have traded Bi when we first got him, because that's what I was looking at when we first got him. Possibly, if we could have got somebody that fit better with Zion, I was willing to give up anybody for John Morant. You remember that, Q?
Yeah, I remember that.
So I was trying to give up all of them for John Morant.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's
man,
like,
whatever
go back.
Memphis want,
Right.
they
The
want
parent.
Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, and Bi get to him.
Right. They didn't want to deal though. I remember we was
They
talking.
want to get to him, man. Get to
They ain't
him.
want to deal. Yeah, they ain't want to deal though. They ain't want to deal with them.
You could see John Morant, man, and when he played in that in March Madness, the way he was playing, bro, you could see he was special. He was like, yeah, he that dude, man. And then we had it was somebody else. Yeah, I wanted us to draft Darius Garland. We drafted a damn point guard. And you move on from Drew Holiday, Lonzo Ball, whichever one. Really, I think I was saying Lonzo. You go flip Lonzo for something else. We would have had Darius Garland, Drew Holiday, Bi, and Zion as our core, and we just had to find the center. You don't think that would have been a better team than what we went through after that? This was all obvious, man. So it was a lot of things Griff could have did better. That's just one of many examples that got us here. If we would have had a point guard with Bi the whole time, or at least a couple of point guards on this roster that was competent, a really good starting point guard, and a nice backup point guard, I think Bi and Zion look different together. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it, man. Because everybody can be themselves. DC, if you got a floor general who decides who gets the
Hey, you
ball
take pressure off of them, bro. You can do the point Zion thing when you want.
whenever you want. You don't have to force the ball into his hands to do this. No, everything flows like it's supposed to. It's all natural and organic, like it's supposed to be right now. All right, big ups to the fam.
Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, wait, you bring somebody in?
Well, yeah. What you about to say, DC? You about to
Oh,
say
I was
something?
just replying to Irvin, man. He said Garland didn't have enough film on him to risk that type of trade at the time. Brother, I'm not talking about a trade. You got to remember, I'm talking about 2019. We had the chance to draft Darius Garland, and just like Ja Morant, you go back and watch this show. We were extremely high on Darius Garland because when you watched his tape, you could see everything he was doing in the league. It was all there. Remember that Q? Darius Garland. I was, we getting Darius Garland. Can we get Darius? He's like, bro, we got Lonzo Ball. Say, man, Lonzo Ball, get the fuck out of here. We get Darius Garland. And it was so easy. It was right there. We had the number 4 pick from the Lakers. It was right there.
Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't come off the board earlier, I'm like, yeah, we getting him. And we trade for Nickeil Alexander-Walker and fucking Jackson Hayes.
Yep.
Stupid.
What a dumb move that was, boy. And then end up
Stupid. I don't want to, and I always was conflicted on having a young rookie center paired with Zion. Why the hell are we trying to pair up a rookie backcourt? What is this shit? I always thought that was stupid and didn't make any sense. When I mean, we had Derek Favors, but it's like you're trying to get this other center for the future, and man, go get somebody who know what they're doing at center. Especially at that time, it was easy to get centers at that time.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting, man. All that, how it all goes, isn't it, man? All the trades with Steven Adams and all that, man. Getting him out, him and, man. Bledsoe, Bleeding Sore, as we called him. Chief Bleeding Sore, Eric Bledsoe. Oh, man. And then they moved these. I mean, we wasted a lot of time here. Now, people forget that stuff, man. We sit up here and did shows on all that stuff and talked about all the time that Griffin set up here and wasted and all of the bad trades. He didn't have no plan to do all that. You don't trade for a center and a player and bring them here, then they flop in the next year, and then you send them out, and then you have 3 coaches in 5 years. What's the plan on this? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Then blame, like I said,
he was trying to cover up for his mistakes, but that delays your time frame.
Oh yeah,
that's why it wastes your time. I mean, it's just like how we talk about with the physical therapist. It took them 5 seasons to get a physical therapist. You know what I'm saying? For real. I mean, that stuff hurts when you don't have your stuff together.
Yeah, it does.
It pushes the timeline back. You know what I'm saying? Because just think, if the organization had a physical therapist for when Zion got here, because everybody was talking about how unique Zion's body was, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a big secret. You know what I'm saying? That probably would have changed in itself as far as his availability. Because again, like first season of having a physical therapist, Zion was available for 70 games. You know what I'm saying? That's the most games he's been available for. So if you would have had that in place when he got here, that probably would have changed a lot. Ain't no telling where the Pelicans would be at. But yeah, they behind Griff is basically covering up past mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from a financial standpoint as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Lex. That's the thing. That's why people ask me, "Q, why you?"
It makes no sense.
Why do we feel the way we feel? Because, man, listen, man, I don't like no BS, man. I don't like
that's right.
Just tell the damn truth, man.
Shit.
Let's be honest. Because this is the thing when you have with David Griffin. Like I said, he contradicts himself in his own spillings. He gets up there and talks about this, and the trade market was really hot, and then toward the back end, we really didn't want to trade him. And I'm like, man, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? Now you have this situation here where we forced to do what we got to do. But shout out to you guys. We got brother Donald on the line. Donald, welcome. How you doing, brother? Oh yeah, by the way, DC in that 2019 draft, Cam Reddish was number 10. Just to let you know, Donald, the floor is yours.
I ain't want him either. Wanted Darius Garland.
Well, he played well.
The past streams, man, for real.
What happened? It don't make no sense, man. It's too simple. Tell her how it is. Tell her how it is to keep it moving. Oh God, it's aggravating. It drives me crazy. That's the kind of general manager we got. He driving me crazy. He all run around in circles and shit.
And you know what's
Like
crazy?
seriously.
The general manager.
Oh, duh,
He's the
duh,
vice president of operations.
duh.
That's what's crazy, man.
That's the crazy thing. Like, dude, you ain't the vice president. You're the general manager. And the general manager, he said, but remember, he actually did this up. He said, it's just a title. There ain't no damn thing. You're the general manager, man. If it's just a title, what the hell you took the job for then? Come on, man.
I won't mind taking that job.
Oh, boy.
Title.
Oh, God. Yeah, but we are behind, man. That's not good. It's behind, man. We should have been did all this, man. All this should have been done years ago. It took too long. And now we just stuck now. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely in
We're stuck.
a special
Oh, we
situation.
can't. Well, we can't. Well, no, take that back. We can do it. We just don't want to.
Mhm.
It got nothing to do with no CBA. You can, just don't want to. I would say if I was able to get that Darius Garland and yeah, I would have did it. I would have been did that months ago. I get Jerry Allen would have did that months ago. It just took
No,
too
no,
long.
I'm talking. It was the draft, brother. We
Well, yeah,
could have
yeah,
drafted Darius
yeah.
Garland.
Yeah. If you're able to
They didn't
draft
have a
those
trade
dudes,
where we could have got him. It was
yeah,
the
man, that's
draft,
my point. Yeah,
2019.
I agree. I totally agree, man. We just didn't want to do it. But we got other players, and I'm like, they're not even on the team no more. You know what, Nikhil Alexander Walker, well, he in Minnesota, he actually doing good. But Jackson Hayes ain't doing good. He on his way out. Shit. But that's the side of it, though.
Yeah, that Jackson Hayes selection was it was a
That's
real
not good.
that
That
was a
wasn't good.
bad pick.
That
When
was
you
bad, man. That
look
was
at
not
it,
good.
NAW and Jackson Hayes, those picks were not good at all. You had 3 first-round picks that year. We could have really done something with that.
Yeah,
Now,
I forgot the dude name. He from overseas. What was that dude name? Lazada Silva. He another one. He didn't even play on the team.
that's a DC favorite right there.
Oof, man, it never worked. Ooh, that's 3 picks right there. That was a waste. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good.
Hey, hold on now, Down. Don't be saying that DC on here, man. You don't like that when
Well,
you talk.
I ain't worried about that. No, I don't care about that.
DJ wasn't a good pick, man. He ain't here no more. What you
Hey,
mean?
I don't care about that. That's you.
Mm.
That's your
There
fault.
you go. Tell him, Don.
Shit, who cares about that? Hey, if you want to win, you want to lose. That's all I know. That's just foolishness right there. That's just foolishness from the beginning. That's what people ain't realizing.
Yeah, that was a tough. That was in 2019 draft, man. 3 first-round picks. Zion was
Yeah,
it.
man. You guys hit on all 3 of those. You couldn't even do that.
We supposed to be on another level with that one, man.
We're
You know,
supposed
Man,
listen. We were supposed to
we
win
would
more
have been so much
games.
better, bro.
We had a whole like we were way behind.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
We had
we were
number
supposed to be
4
doing
pick,
what Minnesota
man.
was supposed to be doing.
The number
Shoot,
4
same
pick
thing
was
with
staring us in the
OKC.
face.
Oh,
Crazy.
Oklahoma City,
Yeah,
they know how to
both
draft.
of them. Yeah, both of them started their rebuild the same as the Pelicans,
Exactly.
and
Oklahoma City.
they actually had gotten
That's correct.
further
That's
than
you know
they
why
have
Oklahoma
a
City is so
nice
good?
system, a
You want
nice
Oklahoma City is so good?
everything.
You know why Oklahoma City is so good? Because the general manager, he's a scout. He likes drafted
Oh
talent. He
yeah,
goes out and knows what he's doing. That's not Griff. Griff is a businessman. That's my point. Everybody don't fit, man.
Griff
Griff is
ain't
a
the
bullshit.
GM, but he think he
yeah.
is.
And we said
He's a
many
businessman.
times like nobody really knows basketball in that
Well,
front office.
thank you. I totally agree to that.
Nobody has a passion for the game or an eye for talent.
You trade the people at Oklahoma City, Presley. He's a fan. He got a passion for this shit. So Griffin got that.
You know what? We talk about the 2019 draft, DC. You know what's worse than that? The 2020 draft. Look at it.
Who was in the 2020 drafts?
Kyra
That's Kyra.
Oh yeah, that's even worse. Oh yeah, God, that was worse.
And
Kyra. And then look, we had we could have got Desmond Bain. We could have got
That's my
Desmond
point.
Bain,
Again,
and we traded the pick away. We drafted This other kid traded him to Denver for cash.
Oh God,
A first round pick. We traded to Denver for cash.
man, that's crazy, bro. I totally forgot about that. Kyra Lewis, man. He on
So
this part of the
we
league.
could have had maybe Tyler Hero and
Yeah,
Desmond
Tyler Hero. I remember
Bain, and
Tyler
you
Hero.
could look at some other people.
Tyler Hero was in Zion's class. He
But
was
then,
in
okay, well that makes sense.
You got Nick Richard here.
Nick, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
shout out Nick Richards.
Pelicans
And
draft.
Who was in the teams? Because we definitely would have drafted Halliburton. But I'm like, man, you couldn't foresee. Well, no, I guess
Tired.
nobody
That's
could have
another one.
foreseen
God,
Sacramento
man.
doing that because they had
Well,
De'Aaron
Sacramento
Fox
not.
at the
Hey,
time. So why
Sacramento
would
still
they
not
draft
winning.
Halliburton? But man, I thought we was gonna get Halliburton, bro. I was so excited. Like,
He
man,
was in Sac. I forgot.
I
He was
forgive him
he
for
was in
messing up
Sacramento.
Griff.
Yeah,
Forgive
that's
him for
crazy.
messing up if he get Halliburton. But
God.
who
I
else? Who
forgot.
else could we have gotten at 13?
Jesus, what was? I gotta look at the whole
PQ.
draft.
I mean, man,
Danny
13.
Avdija would have been okay too. That would have been, but he went
He
5.
went ahead though, bro. He was
He went
Hell
5,
no.
man.
yeah, he went
That's
ahead.
no.
That was Vassell. So who was after Kyrie?
Okay.
Okay, we could have got Aaron A. Smith,
Nothing.
Isaiah Stewart. We could have got him. Willie Green would be Tyrese Maxey. That was the
Tyrese
guy.
Maxey, come on,
That was
man.
the other one that was projected
Oh
to us.
God.
If we didn't get Kyrie, we were supposed to get Tyrese Maxey.
Man,
Because I
come on,
wanted
man.
Halliburton, and then if we couldn't get Halliburton, I was like, yeah, well, I guess we get Tyrese Maxey.
Look at
And then the
Tyrese
other
Maxey
guy
now,
was
man.
J. Cole. I like the J. Cole too at 13.
And hey, but look at Tyrese
But
Maxey now.
I did
Look
not
what he's
want
doing now.
Kyra, man. Kyra was like the
Ooh,
last guy I would have wanted at the
God.
point guard spot, and that's what we got.
You
God,
got him.
that Tyrese Maxey, that dude, man, that dude can play, man.
Not only Tyrese Maxey, but
Ooh, man.
Emmanuel Quickly too. Both
Oh,
of those.
quickly
Man,
another one.
he
Quickly
would
another
have
one.
been better too. Yep.
Ooh, I don't know who better,
Shit,
Tyrese
even Josh
Halliburton
Green.
or
Josh
Maxey.
Green for Dallas, bro.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Sadiq Bey. That was another guy that was projected. So he still would have been better than Kyra.
Yeah.
Shit, Desmond Bain.
That's been banned
Yeah,
another one.
but RJ Hampton is the guy we drafted, Q, right here. RJ Hampton. And we
Mhm.
traded him to Denver for cash. Well, we could have just drafted Desmond Bain and kept him.
That's crazy, bro.
And I was looking at it like, I was like, man, we should get Desmond Bain.
Dude,
Draft that guy.
our scouting department is
That's
horrible. What the hell, man? Oh, y'all need to be fired.
I can't say they're horrible, man, but they definitely the drafting we made some blunders, but we know that has a lot to do with our general manager and not just
Hey,
the
that general
scouting.
manager, he's not a scout.
Yeah, he
The general
crazy.
managers, they are scouts. They do good. Sam Presti's one of them. R.C. Bluff was one. R.C. Bluff still in San Antonio. He another one. Oh, the best general manager in the business right there. The one in San Antonio and the one in Oklahoma City. I might be missing a couple other guys though. I can't think of it.
It's
I might
sad
be
that the
missing it.
starting lineup is a big question mark, though.
It is a big question mark, but
You know
it's
what I'm
simple.
saying? Like, there's really not a for sure. There's not a whole lot of confidence with our starting five. I mean,
Hey,
yeah, we got
but I tell you what,
DeJounte Murray, but
yeah,
it's a concern because when you look at
yeah,
other teams, you can tell who they starting five is. You can't do that
yeah,
with the Pelicans right now. You know what I'm
yeah, bro.
saying?
Yeah,
You don't
it's
even know who
crazy.
the sixth man's gonna be. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
we know who should be the sixth man, but they're not going to do it. I know that. I don't remember nobody else. That should be CJ, but they're not going to do that.
Man, CJ should be off the team.
No question.
No,
People keep
wait,
talking about.
hold on.
No,
That's
people keep
a
on
lot of
talking.
money coming
Here's my
off the bench,
problem.
man.
Here's my problem with that though. People keep telling me about CJ. They talk about Brandon Ingram. I said, first of all, I'll trade both of them. CJ
Yeah.
holding the team up also. I said, first of all, he becomes six man. Are you out of here?
I'm
No,
totally
he's gonna have
against
to
that.
take a pay cut, man. He gonna have to take a pay cut.
I'm totally.
He's not taking the hell though. Well, that's not going to happen.
To be the sixth man now.
That's not. That's not going to happen. That's what I tell you. If I could trade him,
So he
man,
got
that'd be
to
good.
go.
I'm against us getting rid of CJ for nothing. Like
No. But I agree with that point. There,
we
you got to
have
give
our
it to
gripes with
something.
CJ, but I'm not gonna act like CJ McCullough was not pretty much. Some people had him considered the best, second or third best 3-point shooter in the whole
No, no,
league.
no, no, no. You know what?
He's
That
not
I
a
agree
part
that
of the
that
future
that
though.
that's not that's actually not bad. I know what I agree with you on that. And you know what?
Like
He could play like he could be like the Ray
CJ
Allen.
did, he
Yeah,
helped way
exactly.
more than he hurt. The only thing with CJ is
Gotta play
if
defense.
Zion goes down,
Bright lights.
CJ is not your number 2 guy.
Nope, not the hell no.
CJ has to be a number 3, and
Number
he
4.
overpaid to be a number
Number
3.
4.
But the way he plays, I'm telling y'all, man, this shit is a nuclear bomb waiting to go off with Zion. Like it helps
It does help.
if you
You
if you
kidding me?
use him correctly, and Willie
Thank you,
Green stop
Donald.
trying to make him the
Thank
second coming of Chris Paul or some shit.
I agree with that.
Hey, Donald Allison just said it. CJ a regular season guy, man. When the bright lights
That's
come
fair.
on, when the
That's
big
fair.
stage comes on, he does not show up. Not only that, that dude is hunted on defense. Now you
Correct.
talk about this team being a defensive team, right?
I am.
Man, they look at him like barbecue chicken.
Yeah.
Barbecue chick, that's what he is. Oh shoot, we having a cookout on this dude right here. Even
Yeah.
guys who don't get playing time, they were attacking CJ.
Yep.
Like it's like that don't even make sense. And that's why I asked the question. It's like CJ is a defensive liability.
I'm talking
Huge
about people.
defensive
Hey, that's
liability.
crazy.
But yet
Like,
we talking about Jordan Hawkins not getting minutes because of his defense. Is his
shit.
defense just as bad? You know what I'm saying?
He's
And
a
That's my
veteran,
point.
Lex.
you know what I'm saying? I'm just
The old
saying.
man.
I'm just
That's
saying.
what happened. That's what happened to my guy Ray Allen. When he got old, he couldn't do it no more. He had to become a role player. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just
Well,
But
this
my thing is,
happens.
see, we
CJ don't
don't
have a
have
whole lot of athleticism, and
we
plus
don't
he's
have CJ out there to play defense though. CJ is out there because he's arguably one of the best 3-point shooters in the whole NBA. We got a guy
That's
that's in
correct.
Zion
I
that
agree with
don't
okay.
it.
Okay,
shoot
so
three
how does
pointers.
Willie feel about
Wait,
that?
hold up.
No,
We got a guy
The
in
defensive
Zion.
coach? That's interesting.
We got a guy in Zion that don't shoot 3-pointers, right?
Yeah,
We
you put
nope.
need
shooters around him. We know that.
somebody like CJ out there with him, right? So if I'm getting rid of CJ, I don't think we become better by just getting rid of him. People like, oh, I want him off the team. We just get rid of CJ for
Now you
nothing.
gotta
Like,
get something
You
for
got
him.
to
come
get
You
on,
gotta
something
get
man.
something
for
for
him.
him.
We got to get something for him.
Yeah.
Or try to replace some of that shooting. We can't put all that pressure on Hawk that he just gonna take up. That CJ was shooting
You know what?
damn near 10 3-pointers a
Hey,
game, man,
hey,
and hitting them.
the thing is that when Hawk was getting minutes because guys were down, what was Hawk doing?
Hawk was balling.
He was
Oh,
performing.
he
He
was
was
balling.
balling. He was the third in the rookie of the
He was
year.
balling. He was
Okay,
balling.
Balling.
so that
He was
was
balling.
taken away from him.
Take it away from that
Come
dude,
on, man.
man. Take away from
Let
his
me tell you
minutes and
something.
everything. That's crazy.
DC, you have to have pressure. You don't know what you can do if you don't have pressure.
Yep.
That's what the problem with Griff is.
No,
That's
no,
what
no,
the
no, no,
problem
no.
with
No,
Green is. No,
you missing my point, Lex.
no, I'm
Hold on,
saying with
let her
Jay Hunt
finish,
though.
DC.
You need someone else with Hawk. I'm all for Hawk taking over that
Yeah,
role,
there's
but
somebody gonna be out
I
there
don't
with
like
him.
when people like, okay, get rid of CJ like as if we're just better just getting him off the team. No, CJ need to be put
No,
in his proper place as like the
Yep.
third guy way back
with the
there,
pay cut.
behind the other two guys. And,
The
and
Pelicans have a financial problem. So the thing is, you have to because of Griff's mistakes, you have a
Yep.
financial problem. That's why you went with Willie Green because you were being cheap. You were being cheap,
Yep.
man. He
You
was a
can't be
fourth
cheap.
option, right?
Like that's
Willie
not
Green was
good.
a fourth option. He wasn't the first option for the head
Nope.
coach.
Nope.
So the thing is, that's what the problem is. You've made some horrible financial decisions. You're
Yep.
trying to cover up your mistakes by going cheaper. When you go cheaper, what happens to the quality?
It ain't good. It ain't good.
Exactly.
That's all I can tell
And
you.
that's what's happened. That's what's happened. You have to you need cap. You need to move pieces.
You gotta
That's
move
what
pieces,
the
man.
problem is. Everything is coming back because this dude made mistake after mistake, and he's trying to
That's
cover
right.
it by being cheap.
You can't
And
be
he
cheap. You
has
want to be the
the
best. You gotta. You gotta spend it.
in the bind. He has him in a bind. And that's what the problem is. We have to stop. We have to stop this trend right now because this is horrible.
It ain't good.
Bro,
It's not good at all right now. I can tell you that. It is horrible.
I mean, yeah. You right, Lex. They
I'm just
do. They
saying,
got
like,
themselves in this
that
bind.
hurts.
But
It's
to
hurting the
get
organization.
to get out of it and to actually be a winning team while getting out of it, it's not addition by subtraction by just getting rid of CJ and BI for nothing. We're not going to be a better team just getting rid of them for nothing. Hawk can
Well, the
step
thing
up and
is,
he
you
can
got to
do
be.
some stuff. Hawk ain't going to be able to be what CJ is his very first year, is all I'm getting at. Like,
That's
he's
because
got
he's
to
not
grow.
getting opportunities. Same thing with Trey. Trey
Come on,
Murphy's not
Lex.
getting opportunities like that.
But wait, hold up. Trey and Hawk is two different things. Trey can
Hey,
step in and fill BI's role now because he's been in the league for 4 years.
That's a
But
20 to 25 point score right
Hawk
there.
can't go from barely getting minutes to just stepping in and filling CJ role and he gonna be everything CJ is.
but
No, it's gonna take him a year
when
or so.
he was getting minutes, we saw that it was promising. Like you have
No,
to
no,
give
it's
him
it's
credit.
it's promising, and you need to eventually move
And
off
he
of
was
CJ
producing.
and let Hawk take that role. But before we do that, we got to get a man consistent minutes, just as a
That's
bench
what I'm
guy,
saying.
before you could just catapult him in that and expect him to be everything CJ is.
Man,
That's
look,
all I'm saying.
you see, man, on other teams,
He gonna
man, they,
struggle.
they play, yeah, but the thing is, that's how you learn. And then
You
you
want
have
to
So
a
you
win?
learn.
nice group
Do
around
you
you.
want to win?
It's not like it's a whole bunch of rookies around.
What do we
All this
learn?
struggling.
You
So
have
all right, we gonna
veterans
put him
around
out there.
him.
We gonna put him out there, and he gonna struggle. And it's gonna be up and down. And then the Pelicans go to winning 40 games instead of getting closer to 49 where they was at. Everybody
No,
gonna complain
no,
about
no.
that.
The thing,
They
hey,
should have never got rid of CJ. Man,
look,
if we would have
the
had
thing
CJ, we
is,
would have been in the
hey,
playoffs.
the Pelicans were losing games because you don't have a good coach.
That too. Head
You're
coach is
losing
as a
double
coach here.
digit leads. You couldn't uh, write on the board, the clipboard, a play in the clutch. Okay, how many times do we lose 5 points or less, 3 points or less? It's a landslide. 0-27 in the clutch. I mean, the thing is, dude, you can't draw up no plays in the clutch. And then you have guys like CJ and Brandon. They look like chickens with the head cut off.
That's a
They
good one.
running
I like
around.
that.
They didn't know what to do. They were in
Nope.
panic mode. And these are veterans. I don't know how many times I saw that.
That's not good.
It really isn't. And that's the purpose of having DeJounte there. But it's like, golly,
Yeah,
CJ, how long have you been in the league? Why are you responding like you're a rookie?
that's not good.
And he's how old? He's the oldest on the team.
That's
Come on,
crazy.
man. And we all saw that. We can go back to some clips where they just over dribbling, it ended in a turnover, or the shot clock ran out.
Like I'm like, you got to move the ball, man. He ain't even trying to move the ball. I'm like, move the ball. Shit, but they don't want to do that. God,
And then
that's
Willie, he was
frustrating.
drawing up plays. Willie wasn't trying to put the ball in Zion's hands.
Oh
He kept
Lord,
on going to CJ, telling him, "Yeah, this is your moment. This is your time." Y'all remember when he was doing that? And I'm like, okay, what?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Why are you trying to, like, you're not even trying to put Zion, your superstar, in clutch situations. He's not even getting those opportunities.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, come on, man. That's not good coaching.
it's not
Especially
good coaching.
when you got a player who was hot during the game and you went away from him, and it's like, all right, well, Brandon's gonna get the last shot. Like, what happened to going to the hot hand? Read the defense. Remember when they were in Houston? They took Dylan Brooks off of Zion and they put him on Brandon and he sicked him. He shut him down in the clutch.
But Houston got great coaching, in my opinion. He don't got no
It's
talent.
like,
That's a great coach.
why did you? And he continued to go to Brandon when Brandon wasn't getting nothing. He wasn't getting nothing on Dylan. You should have
Yeah,
immediately exploited the mismatch and went to Zion
bingo.
because Brandon was struggling against Dylan Brooks.
That's crazy. It's simple stuff. The little stuff they don't want to do right. But they think too big.
I mean,
I can't
come
defend that
on,
one.
play chess and not checkers. Come
You
on,
gotta play.
man.
You gotta play chess every. You gotta play chess every
Well,
play, every game, no matter what. I don't care what it is.
I
If you're
can't
going
defend.
to cheat, that's your problem.
Hold on, family. We got a super chat we got to read.
What is that? Who's that?
Donald Addison. What's happening, family? Appreciate the $4.99. We have no tradable salary outside of Herb Hawk, so trading BI or CJ will have to be with a first round pick attached. I don't necessarily agree, man. If we're going after another player,
Hell
first
yeah, you
round
do
pick
that.
attached, definitely. But BI, we have until August. What is it? August 8th or August 6th, right? They have to figure out an extension for him by that date if they're going to extend him, or
Man,
else if
they
we
ain't gonna
extend him
do it.
after that date, we won't be able to trade him until like next year. So they,
Yeah,
they if they
yeah,
figure
no.
out an extension for BI, and he's going to have to take less money. His agent has to be telling him that because next year, maybe he gets a little bit better offer, but he ain't gonna get the 200 he want. He ain't getting that shit next year. They're not opening the floodgates till the year after that,
Too late.
2026,
It's gonna
2027. That's
it's
when he'll be able to get probably more than the 200 million he want because they're gonna have a lot of guys getting $300 million
yeah,
contracts. Like you
yeah.
saying with Tatum and them now, you're gonna see your first $400 million contract. So his agent, if I know this shit, and other people talk about his agent, gotta know this. So if we get Bi to extend, yeah, we'll be able to trade him without attaching a first round pick. Now CJ, you got a little bit of a point, and this is why you hear me talking about what I'm talking about now. We don't become a better team by just getting rid of CJ, regardless of his shortcomings. I hear you, Lex, and
They did that
I
with
was.
JV. They just let him walk for
Oh
nothing.
wait, hold
That
up.
second that second
JV
draft
and
pick they
CJ,
had.
JV and CJ aren't the same caliber player for this team because
Really?
we
Because
are.
we're trying to find a
Wait,
starting point.
hold on, Lex,
All
hold
right.
on. Just
Okay.
hear me out. I know I'm triggering you every time I say it. Just hear me out.
All right.
CJ is needed on this team. Like, okay, I'm looking at Zion. Everything I say and have said today and over the majority of the shows after we've decided we're moving on from BI, right? It's all about maximizing Zion. If you want to maximize Zion and everything he can be, you need the most spacing possible. What's the best, most efficient, easiest way to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Shooting. Regardless of his shortcomings, he's not showing up in the clutch. CJ ain't that guy. Yeah. And also the problem is coaching because CJ should not be in a position like
Mm-hmm.
he's the number one or two guy. He shouldn't be taking no shot at the end of the game
And Willie
unless
was
it's
treating
wide
him like that
open.
too.
Right. And a lot of this is dun 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 because we didn't have a goddamn point guard. CJ should not have been our point guard. That play you're talking about when with the OKC Thunder, the play looked like it was drew up for trade. They were trying to go to the hot hand. CJ couldn't get him the ball, so he just pulled up and shot that badass shot. And then they also got the rebound and botched that up after that. We just focused on CJ. CJ played horribly,
Yeah,
and he
they didn't
definitely
have it.
deserves.
They didn't have a
He
contingency plan.
Right. See, he definitely deserves criticism because I think a lot of time me and Big Q talk about this and you as well, Lex. He skates by, he don't get criticized for shit at times,
No.
and all of it went to Brandon Ingram. But I don't see any of those guys by themselves as just the problem. We got a lot of problems with our team,
Yeah.
and just eliminating those two guys does not fix those problems. Now imagine this.
I mean,
Wait. This I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give it to you because I know you won't respond. Imagine your favorite coach, Lex, Willie Green, not being there, and you
that
put James Borrego
you know
there
what?
with
You
the
trying to
same
press
players.
buttons. You
How
know,
does that look?
trying to press buttons. Mm.
Go ahead. You
Mm.
got it, baby.
Looks different. That looks damn
Okay,
different.
say that again. What'd you say?
Thanks, Donald.
We're blaming everything on Brandon Ingram and CJ, and we got to get them as if we're getting better by
Mm-mm.
subtracting these guys. I said put James Borrego there, where Willie Green is, with the same players. Are we automatically having the same conversations, or how does that look? Like, are we still saying, "Oh, CJ got to get out of here, Bi got to get out of here for nothing"? We want them gone so bad, we willing to get rid of them just for a bag of chips or anything.
No, you misunderstand. Griff, Willie, CJ, and Brandon, they can all go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That
I
makes
don't know
sense.
who said what you said, but yeah, them four. Look, like I'm kind of finished with the project. We collected the data. You know what I'm saying? The data was collected. That's what all last season was for, right? The thing is that we looking with all the mistakes that Griffiths made, and then you look at Willie, his butt can't coach. You know, Brandon, I feel like he's peaked, in my opinion, because the thing is that we've seen how far Brandon can take you. We've already seen that. We haven't seen it with Zion because obviously you weren't really totally dedicated in building around him. Then you didn't have a physical therapist, you know what I'm saying? Which is horrible. You weren't even really prepped to build around him. You know what I'm saying? CJ, I don't feel like he's the right veteran for this group. I feel like DeJounte is. Like just the genuineness that he has, I feel like he's a leader. CJ's a politician. I've said that many a times. That's what I feel about him. I don't feel like he is that veteran for these younger guys. I really don't. And that's really probably my biggest thing. It's not so much on the court because obviously when Brandon was off the floor and CJ was actually playing that 2 spot and Zion was handling the rock, they played off each other well. They did. Now,
I
one
agree
thing,
with that one.
yeah, the fact that with CJ, the other things with him is defense. When it's in the playoffs, defense, they're hunting him. He doesn't have the greatest speed. Okay, he doesn't have a whole lot of athleticism. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna, just go and dunk on you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's more on ground person. So the thing is, as you start getting into more competition, that's going to become a problem. And we saw them hunt him. Like they were literally, look, the Thunder were trying to find that mismatch. The mismatch was him every single time. So the thing is, and then obviously Zion was out. Brandon doesn't create enough gravity. He really doesn't. I mean, there may be moments, situations where obviously if he was the option, if Zion's sitting down and he's the only option, you're going to get it. Everybody knew where the ball was going. But it wasn't something where everybody's like, oh, let me come off my man and help guard Brandon. It wasn't like that. He didn't have that type of gravity. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, if you have a defender who can play him solid, you know what I'm saying, and keep everybody else true, look what happened with JV. They were doubling on JV, right? In game 1. Y'all remember that? Come game 2, they switched it up. And it actually surprised me because they were like, you know what? We're going to live with JV, just one-on-one. We're not going to double down on him. That made everything that much more harder. It made everything harder because they were like, you know what? We're going to live with that. They basically bit the bullet and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to hunt that mismatch and that's how we're going to beat them. But once they stopped doing it, because that game was close, that was the best. Game 1 was the best game. That was the best game the Pelicans had.
Yeah, because they
After
were
that,
rusty.
we saw the Thunder. They got better. They started becoming who they truly were. But
Uh,
the way Pelicans play, that was the best.
shit,
Our
that's crazy.
defense wasn't effective. I
Nope.
don't know what was going on with CJ because it's like, dude, you were really needed. You really didn't step up, which
Didn't
would
show
have
up.
helped Brandon out.
Lex,
You know,
CJ is not worth $33 million.
he's
So
not.
I'm not arguing that point. CJ is not a number 2 or number 1 player.
But that's
If
how
he's
Willie
put
used him
to
a
that
lot of times.
position, well, I mean, what did he have? Zion is hurt. What's his other option?
No, I'm just saying.
Is he gonna catapult Trey to
Even when
that
Zion,
position
even when Zion
after
was
having him
playing,
on
he
the
was
bench all
still a
year, and he
number
gonna
one and
come
number
in
two option.
and you gonna make Trey the number 2 after Trey been playing off the bench all year and coming back from a ACL injury? They're gonna automatically make Trey the number 2. Willie crazy ass probably didn't even have enough plays drawn up for Trey to do that.
He
That's
didn't have
crazy.
no plays drawn up.
So
DC.
like in the situation the way it is, what is the other alternative? CJ leaves this team, right? And you put him with a competent coach, and you put CJ as a number 3 option. Depending on where they go, the team could win a championship. Bottom line, defensive deficiencies and all. CJ should not be playing point guard. Why we got him playing point guard? David Griffin, because I don't think that was ultimately probably what Willie would want. Because Willie would want another player with some goddamn defense. Willie was all hands on deck about them drafted. What's our guy, the Australian sensation that's with the Hawks now? That was Willie's guy. That's who he wanted probably to be the point guard, but it didn't work out. Right? So CJ as a 2 guard, as what he's supposed to be, is totally different. And I think for us to have a point guard now, and CJ can go to his natural position, and we're just like get rid of him for nothing. Or better yet, like Sean gave me some credit. He said DC has a point. Look at the haul we got to take the Devontae Graham off your hands. I'm about to call him DeJounte. I'm about to do the backwards of what Willie did press conference. But we're gonna get rid of CJ, trying to get rid of him to get nothing for him. Possibly have to give up an asset
Why are you
to
saying
get
we
rid of
get
him.
nothing for him?
That won't make us better. And actually, the
Well, if
team
you,
that does take him, if it's a contender, let's say maybe a contender gives us a 2nd round pick, right? CJ will go over there and it'll immediately raise the floor of that team.
what team he going to?
And it's gonna be another borderline Drew Holiday AD situation where they got a guy from over here and they look better.
It depends
So
on
he
how
going
you.
You could
to the
put
Celtics?
CJ. You could put CJ on any team that needs a number 3 to be a shooter, and they got competent defensive or role players surrounding them already, where their stars don't get hurt, and they're gonna be
I don't
really good.
necessarily agree with that.
Well, it depends on how they use them, DC.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it
it also
depends on how they
depends
use
on
them.
who you have. 'Cause if you have a
Using
shooter
him as what
and
you're
he's
supposed to
more
use him
athletic,
as a off
Well,
ball scoring shooter. That's what
well,
he's supposed
yeah,
to be
I don't
used
agree
as.
with that.
right. I agree about that. I mean, any competent coach should understand that principle that CJ McCollum flourishes in the off-ball role. He shouldn't be no damn point guard because he's too selfish. He's just start jacking up shots.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we don't need that to happen. And I'm
Our
not
problem
fucking.
with CJ is structure and how we utilizing him on top of our main guys who's supposed to be in front of him always being hurt. Now we have still the same 2 guys with DeJounte Murray. CJ will never have to be the number 2 option again. He can be the number 3 option
Don't say never.
till we get
Yeah,
rid of him. Because we
Don't say,
got to move
because
on. We got to move on from CJ
right
at
now
some point.
Willie Green don't have no clue on
don't
what
say
he's
never
doing.
because injuries could
I
impact.
think Hawks still need more time. I see y'all point, but Hawks still need a little more time before he can fill CJ's minutes. Hawk can fill 15, 20 minutes. He could fill 30 minutes when somebody gets injured. He needs to taste it for a longer period to stay consistent before we can just move on for CJ, get nothing for him, and think we're going to be better. I want to win this year. So
Why you saying
I'm
nothing
speaking
for
from that
him?
Yeah,
standpoint.
I know. That's
Who's
what
saying
pissed me
who's
because
saying nothing for him? Who's
Because
saying?
like that's the
you
same thing
can't
with
get
yeah.
anything
What full value?
for CJ.
Yeah, you
You
can't get
can't get
anything full
anything for
value.
CJ McCullough because of how much money he make until at least next year. The offers you get from next year may be more favorable because it's an expiring contract. And you probably will still be willing to attach something to it, or maybe at the trade deadline. I'll say at least. But you're
I
not
don't.
getting nothing from CJ right now, man. This dude got 33 mil for 2 years. You're not. Where are we gonna send? Who wants? Even though he can go to somebody and be make them better, raise their floor, and all the shit I said, right? Who wants to pay 33 mil for that?
Yeah, well,
Nobody.
that's where Griff comes in. That's
Yeah,
where he
but
makes a mistake.
but yeah,
DeRozan is better than CJ McCullough? Yes or no?
yes, he
Say
better
again.
than McCollum.
Okay, so you say DeRozan is better than DeRozan makes $24 million. And he younger, I think. They might be around the same age. He might
But
be like a year or two
And
younger.
he just
DC,
signed a $25 million
He's
contract.
making $24 million. So DeRozan, who's better at $24 million, they're gonna overpay $7 million for older CJ McCollum? Come on, man. Ain't nobody doing that deal, bro.
but still in all, that's already understood. DC, that's no really reason to say that we would take them. That's already understood that CJ McCollum is not tradable right now. That's why he's still on the damn team. So I mean, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. I don't think CJ moves, and we've said
I'm
this.
saying we're a better team with him in our current situation
Yeah, right now, yeah,
than
that's
without.
I agree with that. I agree with you're not moving him for anything. I'm not for getting rid of.
He's not horrible, man. Like the dude, he's just not a number. You can't put all that pressure on him. We ain't got no pressure on CJ. CJ go out there, he can have a game, hit 8 to 10 3-pointers. Damn, DeRozan. Wait, hold up, DeRozan 34, CJ 32, 504, Doc. Damn,
Yeah.
damn.
And he signed
Shout out
some.
to 504, Doc. I thought CJ was older. Feel like he been in the league longer to me. I guess I must have really missed a lot of them first years with DeRozan in Toronto.
No, I agree with what you're saying, DC, and premise about CJ McCollum. Yeah, we know that he's not tradable right now. You're gonna have to sit on that for a little bit and see who open up. Like I think it looks a lot better next year when he has 1 year left on that deal, and that's an expiring contract. Somebody,
And then also this is the thing too. What if CJ fully embraces a bench role, and he's also willing to take less money for his next contract, somewhere along the lines of maybe I guess what DeJounte is making. Can we still move on from CJ? Or y'all want to bring him back?
if he's taking less money,
Is he a part of the future?
24 mil a year. He taking the 24 mil a year.
I think when the time comes, we just need to move on from him, bro. I think it because you
It
gotta.
probably ain't going. That shit ain't gonna happen. That is a Hail
Is he
Mary
a part
because
of the
CJ
future
contract
direction?
is up when people gonna start probably getting bigger contracts.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the question is, would you give it to him? And my answer is no. I think eventually, when the time presents itself, somebody will take CJ McCollum's. I don't think it happens right now. I think it happens later. Next year sometimes when that deal becomes a 1 year deal, and I think it then gets value, doesn't look as bad. But I think you have people in place. That's the point. The point is you have young people in place that need to develop, who have the potential to be as good as a CJ McCollum. Jordan Hawkins is a young guy that needs minutes to
Yeah.
get better, and they have to figure a way to get minutes with him with CJ on the team right now, and eventually when they do move CJ McCollum, it's just what it is. It's seen right now that Behi or CJ, even though they're currently on the team, none of these guys are seen by the ownership as future pieces. That's what the long and short of it is. But go ahead, Lex, what you saying?
I mean, they shouldn't be Q, but with our ownership, we don't know how they see them.
No, I'm saying you have to look at it because they're older play. Like CJ McCollum's an older player. I mean,
David Griffin might come out and say, CJ McCullough wants to retire a Pelican, and we want to honor that. You one press conference away from hearing some shit like that, bro.
yeah, you got a point on that, brother. You got a point on that. I can't dispute
I'm trying
that.
to prepare y'all for the future.
Now, I hope that's not the
Well, I
reality.
think that's the thing because the future direction is very unclear. It's just unclear, man. I mean, it seems like I feel like with this Brandon situation, it's very similar to JV's because last season during the summer, JV and the Pelicans could not come up to a decision. So, I mean, that's just one of them situations, like because I feel like Brandon is going to stand firm on getting his money. And the reason being is because he's looking at other guys around the league. They got paid. But the difference is that their value was high and his is not. And so he's kind of looking at things the wrong way, thinking that he can still get that. But if your demand is not high, you can't expect, demand that amount of money, especially when nobody around the league is trying to give you that. So I mean, I don't know. You said the deadline to give for the extension is like August 8th or something.
Yeah, I forget the timeline. It's like the 8th or the 6th or something, like somewhere around that.
Yeah, because I still feel like I don't think they're gonna have any common ground, because I think we can all agree, like, whether you want BI to stay on the team or not, Brandon is not worth that much, man.
Nah,
He's
we
not
can't. We
worth,
definitely can't keep
he's not
both
worth
of
that
them.
contract.
We
He's
shouldn't go
not.
into the season with both of them.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, even when because the Pelicans allowed his team to go shop around. There's no suitors. They're trying to shop around to see who's going to pay him the money, and he can't. No one has stepped up. And that right there, as a business, like, dude, why would I offer you that and nobody else is offering you that? That means if I decide to trade you, I won't even be able to do that. I'm going to be stuck with you. Look at the situation with McCollum. Nobody wants to take a 33 mil type contract. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the Pelicans are definitely in a bind. I mean, this is a very interesting situation that they have.
Yeah, but you have a lot of talent, though. You have a lot of talent, though. I'll give you that. But this is all messed up, man.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Pelicans are prepared, man. They're prepared that if Ingram just leaves as a free agent, I think they're prepared for that. And I think the octopus will spin it. I really do think that they're preparing themselves for that, because it's only so many. It's only so many. I mean, it's only so many paths we're going to take here. And like I said, all the cards are facing up on the table. So, I mean, I think they are prepared for it. And the octopus won't get in trouble because none of these people are checking for him. No, only the diehard flock is checking for it. None of these other people aren't checking on that guy. He can do whatever the hell he want to do. You screw
Let
up
me
as
ask you this. Let me ask you this, Big Q.
Like, go
So, what would be the point in letting him play out his contract? Because I think it's if that's the case, it's
How
only
you gonna,
one reason to let him play out his contract.
well, how is he? If you, how you gonna put a gun to his head? You gonna fleece him like with you did Atlanta? You gonna put the pistol on and force him to do it?
So
Well,
so nobody was willing to take Brandon Ingram for spare change, so to
so
speak. Like
so
I
you
think
gonna
there's a team out there that's willing to take him on without relatively giving us anything of value,
name them.
other than maybe one first round pick or something, if
I
that.
mean, if that was the case, wouldn't that have been a situation that have already occurred? Because they've asked for
No, because you're
guard.
talking about David Griffin, who never wants to lose a trade. Hey, think
Well,
I
about
mean,
all
but
the
that's
trades
all
David
he
Griffin
has
has.
been doing.
that's all he's been taking
That's
L's.
all he's been doing. The first
Wait,
trade he
hold
won
up,
is probably the
hold up,
DeJounte trade.
You mixing him up
hold
with
up,
Danny Ainge, brother. Danny
hold
Ainge
up,
lose trades.
hold up.
Come
What
on with it.
trade? What trade has he lost theoretically? Looking at the outline of how the trade
Steven
played out,
Adams and Eric
and a
Bledsoe,
perspective
man.
Yeah,
and a
Drew
perspective
Bledsoe
of
and
the
Drew
trade at the
Holiday.
time. Okay,
Man, come
let's
on,
put the Drew Holiday trade in perspective. Since y'all think
please.
he lost the trade,
I
the
mean,
Drew Holiday trade was 5 first round picks, a Bledsoe, and then you could say we could possibly say we lost the Steven Adams trade, right? Even though we went back to Memphis and well, no, not that. We got him from OKC. We sent them George Hill, which is crazy. But the original trade
He
for
didn't want
Drew
to come back.
Holiday, who said he didn't want to be there no more, and we were going to send him to a contender. We got 5 first round picks for Drew Holiday, bro.
How'd it work
Now
out?
the shit he did with the picks
how have those
after
picks
that,
worked out, though?
How'd it work
huh?
out?
How have those picks
It,
worked? How have they
it,
benefited the
it
Pelicans?
worked out horribly because we've
But
fumbled
what is
away
Okay,
the
so
picks and
that
stuff.
it was a loss because this dude who traded Drew Holiday to the Bucks and got the 5, it didn't mean that because he didn't know what to do with them.
they see? This is
Exactly.
falling flat,
But
He
brother. What else?
wasted
my
them. So
point is,
that's a loss.
wait,
And Drew
hold
Holiday
hold
won a
up.
championship.
Let me explain my point. My point is the initial trade that we traded Drew Holiday for the 5 first-round picks. That wasn't a loss. It was everything we did with the picks after. When you go to
So,
David Griffin
'cause
handing
there's an
out, wait,
action.
hold up.
DC.
When you
Come on, man.
when you go to David
Picks
Griffin,
without action don't mean nothing,
man,
man. You gotta act on stuff.
hold up, Lex. When you go to David Griffin handing out picks and him acquiring players, he sucks at that. He loses every time doing that. I'm
So
talking
he was
about
a loss when he was hired. You know what I'm
wait,
saying? It's a
wait.
loss. It's a
So
loss.
you can combat my point. I'm trying to explain to you what I'm saying.
Doing
I'm
that.
talking about when we trade guys out. Far as he traded out Anthony Davis, traded out Drew Holiday. We just got DeJounte Murray, traded them guys out.
Thank you,
You
DC.
gotta say he's more of a winner than a loser as far as trades. We got JV for Steven Adams. Come on now. Like we did go and get
And now
Steven Adams for 2
JV
first-round
walked
picks,
for
adding that
nothing.
to Drew Holiday trade and
JV
messed
walked
that
for
up.
nothing.
What about the trades the picks you sent out to move players?
You talking about organizational decisions. I'm just
Okay,
talking
who's
about the
running the
trades.
organization? Who's
It's
running it?
David Griffin running out.
I'm
Who
talking
is
about
he?
I'm talking about the
Doctor
actual
who?
trade.
Doctor who?
It's still Griffin, brother. I hear what you're
Lex,
trying
I'm
to do.
talking about the actual trade. I'm not talking about how we
Yes, but he
capitalized
made
off
the
of it.
actual trade. He
Listen,
did it.
so if you take it Danny Ainge got first 5-round draft
This
picks
isn't Danny
for
Ainge.
Drew
This is
Holiday.
Griff. It's
If you
Griff.
take
Man,
Presky,
You
or
see,
you
he's
take
still
it, no, I'm just saying, if you take anybody else and you give them that trade, that shit would have been successful. We're
okay,
squandering it
who
away. The
don't have
trade wasn't bad.
you don't have that though. You have Griff, who does nothing with the picks. He's hoarding them. He's
See,
hoarding them
You're
and ain't doing
arguing a
nothing
different
with.
point that I'm trying to
see,
explain, though.
It doesn't
see,
matter.
see,
Griff is
see.
It
Griff.
does
Presty
matter.
is Presty. Danny Ainge is Danny Ainge, and Danny Ainge ain't with the Pelicans. Presty
We can
ain't
name 10, 15 other GMs. It is still
yeah.
the same
Hold
thing.
on, hold
I'm
on.
saying
What's your point, brother? Go ahead and make your point,
the
please.
point I'm arguing is,
Make your
as far
point,
as
brother.
why BI is still here,
Okay.
is because David Griffin is trying to extract the maximum access he possibly can
And
get
he
for
doesn't have
BI.
he doesn't have the talent or the ability to do that. He
Wait,
doesn't know.
but
He's
wait, like
cheap.
just let me make my point. Like you try
I
to
thought
argue
you
stuff
did.
about what he's gonna
It's
do with
taking
it.
you a
I'm
long
not in
time. It's
disagreement with
taking
you
you a
there.
long time, man.
DC on the treadmill. Go
Spit
ahead,
it out.
DC.
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
on the treadmill.
Spit it
I'm
out, brother.
saying Brandon Ingram is still here. That's why I went all the way there, and I'm trying to explain to y'all. Brandon Ingram is still here because of how this dude goes about trading. He's not horrible at getting trades. That is actually the one positive he has. And he's not going to let BI walk for nothing. He's going to hope that BI goes out. If he lets him play out the contract, he's going to hope that BI goes out and balls out. Then you know what he's going to turn around and try to do? He's going to try to re-sign him still because we got his bird rights. And then he's going to try to trade him.
DC, let me
I'm
ask you.
just explaining y'all what's
I
happening.
mean,
Let me ask you something,
well, you
DC.
must be y'all.
How
You
did the
must be
Valachunas trade
bipolar.
work?
To get 5 first-round picks for a Drew Holiday who broadcasted to the world he don't want to be here no more, man, that ain't a bad trade at all.
All right, DC. Let me ask
Now,
you
what
something.
we did with the picks
With the
to add it
pick,
in there, and because we needed a center, and that was stupid.
but the action behind that didn't. Who's behind that action?
I'm not talking about the result, Lex, because my whole point in saying it is just talking about what we're gonna do with Brandon Ingram. If you put a competent GM
DC, did you
and
get
gave
anything
him
for Valachunas? Did you get,
5
hold
first
on, hold
round
on, hold on.
draft picks, bro,
Was
that's
Did you
not
get
bad, and it
anything?
would have turned out way better.
Did you get anything for Valachunas?
JV walked, dog. They
Did
didn't
you
get
get anything for Valachunas?
What we got JV for though?
and
No,
now
no, no,
you
no,
know what?
no.
You don't have
Answer
no
the damn
starting
question.
big
Did you
man.
get anything for Valachunas? Yes or no?
No, I'm not talking about the damn result. I'm just talking about the trade.
But that's a part of it. That's
Can't
a
have
part
No,
no
of
it's
result.
it.
not.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it is,
is.
man.
Because that's
Yes,
not my
it
point.
is.
It's two halves make a whole, dude. You can't have one without the
Man,
other.
y'all tripping. Y'all arguing the end result. All I'm saying
Yeah,
is
because that's a part of it.
That's
That's
a
how
part
you
of
know
it.
you
no,
put a
it's
One
trend
not.
plus
For
line.
my
one,
point,
one
for
plus
my
Yes,
one.
point,
it
it's not a
is.
part of it, Lex.
Man, put a poll up. Put a poll up and
They
ask
telling me in
the people.
the thing right now. I'm right. My point is
They say
the
they see
initial
you.
trades that he pulls off are not bad trades. Would we do with it? Yes, but I'm saying you can't be mad at getting 5 first-round draft picks for Drew Holiday. You can be pissed off at what we did with the 5 first-round draft picks. And all I'm saying,
I
my
get,
only point in
The
saying that to tell
5
you what's
does
going.
nothing if you don't do
I
Lex,
get
I'm
what
only
you're saying.
saying
I'm
that
saying
to
he
tell you
breaking
what's
that
going
down.
on with Brandon Ingram. I'm
He
not
breaking
trying to
it
paint Griff up as the great GM.
He got a cash app. DC cash.
What's
Man.
the problem?
DC got his cash app today.
They ain't got no cash after people in the chat understand what I'm saying. Can't
No,
get it to
I hear
enough.
what you're saying in terms of you looking at one side of it, like him acquiring picks, but you're not
If a
talking about.
competent GM has pulled the trades off David Griffin has pulled off, you
What
would
good
be
is it to
10
have
times
thousands
better.
picks and you don't do absolutely nothing with them?
Uh,
It made
I mean,
nothing, Lex. You're right.
that don't make sense to me.
You are right, but you're forgetting the point in me saying this is to explain to what's happening with Brandon Ingram. I'm not arguing the results of the
And the
trades.
fact
well, you
that
say
you
all this to say they can
I'm
get.
saying Brandon Ingram is still
trade.
on the team because of how Griffin trades, and he doesn't want to lose a trade. And he typically initially
So
pulls off very good trades initially. But what he
James
does with the
doesn't
stuff he
lose
gets from the
trades.
trades, he
Griff
fumbles
does.
away. We got CJ McCullough for fucking Josh Hart, Nikhil Alexander Walker,
And
and what
Josh
else?
Hart was a dog. We didn't want him
You don't
to
have
be
them no more,
dog.
brother.
Come on, Lex. Josh Hart still isn't on CJ McCullough level, even now. He was a good player. We didn't want to
Okay,
get rid
but
of him.
we've been talking about we need
Man,
dogs on the team.
Come on, man. Y'all can't be
You
that. You
lost the
can't.
dog.
Big Q just trolling over there. He instigated already.
I'm just saying, man. Everybody in the chat, were y'all cool
They
with
read the chat.
losing
Lex, they all said all right. But
hey,
you arguing a different point though. You're not arguing the point. I don't disagree with what you're saying. It don't matter because David Griff has fumbled it away, yada yada yada. Yeah, I get it. You're absolutely right, but that's not my point. My point is we still have Brandon Ingram on the team because of this. Because
okay.
he's going to try to get one of these type of trades or trade Brandon Ingram for what initially would be a great trade for us. But David Griffin, knowing who he is, he still can fuck it up. So you're absolutely right. You get it? I'm
yeah.
just explaining why Brandon Ingram's still on the team,
He
Lex.
breaking down one side of the equation.
Yeah,
He's
I
saying
mean,
that
but
he
you were
acquires the assets and then screws them up on the other side. That's pretty much what DC.
Right. But maybe I should have said initially, David Griffin
Yeah, that's what.
initially doesn't lose a trade because that's really what I mean.
Yeah, that's what you got it joked
Maybe,
up.
maybe that's why I'm like, cause you like, he ain't winning the trades because we did this
Yeah,
and the team turned into this, and I'm
yeah,
not disagreeing with that. I'm
yeah.
just saying
DC.
when he initially pulls off the trade,
I
we
was
like,
about.
oh man, that ain't bad, that's good. And
I was
then
about
about
to
a
with
day
the
or
kids
two
behind
later,
that
we like, what
ball.
what
That's
the
what
fuck?
I was about to
Why
say,
did
man.
we traded 2 first round
sometimes you
draft picks
can't
for
see
Steven
the
Adams?
outcome.
Why?
I'm about to
Sometimes
say
you can't
DC
really
involved the
see how
crazy
the
pineapple
trade
because
plays
he made
out
sense of it.
until like years after. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
So
What you
sometimes
said?
you can't. Sometimes you can't determine if a trade works out until maybe like a year or a few years later. And I think from a longevity standpoint, a lot just stuff like when you look at it, it's like, dang, man. I mean, it's just like if B.I. gets traded, he was part of the Anthony Davis trade, right? Some people have said like if he's traded, then basically the Pels have lost that trade. The Lakers won the trade with Anthony Davis. So I don't know. I'm
I
just
I,
mean,
looking
initially, you can look at it as we lost it now, but we
yeah,
still don't know what we're
because
gonna get for
that's how you
Beyond.
know
So,
it's with time. It's like down the
but
road.
if you're
I,
looking at
That's
this
how you
trade,
know if you want to trade
we
or not.
turn this trade into
Kind of like Shea
CJ.
Gilgeous Alexander and Paul George.
You turn
You know what I'm
Anthony
saying?
Davis into potentially C.J. McCollum and DeJounte Murray. That's what and I think it was Trey too. Didn't Trey and Herb come out of that trade? So we turned Anthony Davis into that. Or maybe it's not Trey, but it's definitely Herb. But I think Trey too. We turned Anthony Davis into C.J. McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, and Herb. Trey Murphy is a question mark. I gotta go look to make sure. You can't look at that and possibly. And
Okay.
Anthony Davis was
No,
broadcasting to the
I
world
don't think
that he
I
wanted
think
to
Griffin
leave, but the trade
drafted
was already in
Davis.
place, so can't give Griff too much
No,
credit for that. But like,
nah,
how
he was
can you look
actually
at that as a failure? Even though AD went and won a championship, he didn't want to be here. What better could you have gotten
I
other than
mean,
Jason Tatum?
I think
If you want to say Jason Tatum
starting at
was
uh,
better than all of that, it's
negative,
like
but
okay,
I
I
don't
get
think
it.
it was
brother,
no.
you talking about different trades, and the CJ the trade, the AD trade was already set. I mean, it was actually
Right,
a
right.
lesser
You can
trade.
take credit away from him.
It was a lesser trade actually because they had Kuzma in the trade originally because Irvin Magic Johnson set up the trade with
Right,
them, and all they did was
right. We had a
pull.
bad. We had Kuzma too.
Yeah, Kuzma in there, so it was a lesser trade. So I'm not
So
gonna give.
I know I'm not trying to give David Griffin credit. I'm just responding to a point with AD. Like I don't know what better return anybody could have possibly gotten.
No.
Like
Let's not look at. I get what you're
we
saying
could
on that.
say
But
we say that
I
if
won't
the
go back
trade,
to it.
even if people saying we lost the trade, like I don't see how we could have lost it other than fumbling away the assets. With the
Yeah, but
initial
I
trade,
mean, well, if you think
you
about it,
can't do
KD
much
just
back
one
on
walked.
top of on 4
You
first
don't
round
feel like
draft
we
picks
lost
on
that? Now
top of
we
that.
don't have a starting
that's
big
one
man.
trade and several trades, bro. That's one trade and several trades that Griffin has been a part of. Are you honestly saying?
I
And
just
he,
named like 3 or 4, bro.
but it's several trades, bro. And
I
not
named that trade. My
DC,
really the one I named was Drew
DC.
Holiday.
My ears work. Yeah, DC. My ears work, brother. I heard
Well, I'm just
everything.
saying. I said DeJounte Murray and I said C.J. McCollum.
I got you. I got it on all the trades, but the most how it usually works is people grade trades over time. That's how it usually works. Both sides of the trade, the acquisition of the picks and players, and then how the teams utilize them over time, based on if one of the team.
That's all understood.
Yeah, that's what I have to say here because it don't. And
But
to
well,
me,
I'm not arguing. You're right about that.
but to me,
I'm not arguing none of that. I never
that's my
was.
point. That's my point, brother. I
And
don't care.
your point is valid.
And your point is valid too, sir. It's not crazy
Okay.
pineapple talk this time. All right, so yes, so that's that. It is what it is, man. Whether how you got the picks, you get the picks,
So
how you use the picks is all I care about.
he needs to initiate the trades and then get the fuck out the way and let the other people manage the assets. He's
Well,
good at getting the
that's
trades.
not gonna happen,
That
brother.
was the whole point. That was the whole
That's
point.
not gonna happen, my brother. He might initiate and get your selections, and he does get picks. But like I said, that's half of the equation. You got to turn the assets into assets and not liabilities. You can't
He
be,
like a dude. He like a dude who get a fresh
hold
pair of
on,
J's. He clean them up, string them up right, put an outfit on with them, and then just go walk in mud. That's
all
what
I'm
David Griffin does, bro.
right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like you get these assets, and then you get these draft selections. You turn them into Jackson Hayes. You turn them into NAW. You turn them into Kyra Lewis Jr. You take these players and you don't incorporate them into your system. You have and then you it's like all these different. It's many different trades that the man been here for 5 years, going into 6 years. So he's made a lot of trades. A lot of them, a few of them look really good. The DeJounte Murray was a strong arm robbery. That was a big time strong. That was the best trade that he's done since he's been down here, in my opinion. I'm not going to give him credit on the AD trade because that was already set up. It was actually lesser with Dale Demps what he did than
So you don't think the CJ trade was a good trade?
No. Don't get me wrong. The CJ trade was a decent trade as well, but there are others that the team
The
is
Drew
still.
trade wasn't a good trade.
I mean, but DC, that's what I'm saying. You got to turn it into something, brother. And they had a few things. He had some positive stuff that he did. I'm not taking nothing away
We
from him.
ain't turning nothing into nothing if you want to be honest about that.
Oh, come on now. That's the whole point of the whole measure. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
anyway,
you're right about that. But I said all that to say Brandon Ingram is still going to be here because of that. Because he's going to try to maximize him, and we started this by talking on what would be the purpose of letting him play out his contract. And I would say to set the market for him to get an extension. If he doesn't
The
get
market based.
extended, if he don't get extended before August 6th, 8th, whatever, Brandon Ingram will be on this team
Yeah,
all
no
year,
doubt. No doubt.
right? Do we
No argument.
understand that? So
No argument.
even if he's playing out his contract and he didn't have an extension, they're not trading him at the trade deadline. The whole point of me saying all of that to show you this. So if he don't have a
Oh, it's more?
contract extension before the 6th, 8th, whatever that deadline is, Brandon Ingram is on this team for the whole year. And whatever centers we got, that's what we got. So that's the date. We might as well do a show. We need to find out what that actual deadline is, because I know it's somewhere around there. I don't remember what read it at, man. I gotta go find that information. But we need to do a show after that date, because the line, our team will pretty much be set at that
I think
point.
I think you got what you got right now, DC. You don't have to wait to then. I
It's
think you
it's
got.
Urban saying it's August 6th. So
Yeah,
we gotta
yes.
verify that though, man. So if Brandon Ingram plays out his contract, you put y'all seatbelt on, because he might still be on the team, because they're probably going to extend him, because we have his bird rights. So he goes out there and he tries to get this money, right? Which after this year, man, you know how good he would have to be to get $210 million contract even
Close
after this year.
208. I thought it. Well, yeah. Anyway, it don't matter.
210, I think it's 210, 208, whatever. You know how good he got to be this year? He got to play at like an all NBA level, bro. If he does that, then somebody would be willing to give him 210, and it'd be a sign and trade. Other than that, we got to give him some type of contract, and it still might be a sign and trade. But they're gonna let him test the market, see what teams are gonna pay him, and then they're gonna threaten to match it unless we do a sign and trade. Because if that's another thing we got to look up, Big Q. Do we lose his bird rights on his 5th year, or we still have his bird rights, because this is his second contract? So I think maybe we do lose his bird rights, and he has the ability to, I guess, turn down our offer.
Yeah. I'm trying to read it right now to go over
I
it
will
right.
pull it up, brother, but I can't pull it up with where I'm at. I'm stuck just with y'all. As soon as I leave off of here, I can't talk once I try to pull up other stuff. I'm on my phone right now, streaming, but I'm not driving.
No, I hear you not
It'd be
driving.
very dangerous. All this reading Big Q had me trying to do today. If I was driving,
You
it'd be
only
very
you only read
dangerous.
2 super chats, brother. That's all.
That would be negligent on your part if I was driving, Big
You
Q.
just
I would
simply
think
pull
you're
over
trying
to
to
the
kill.
side. Just pull
I
it
would
to the.
think you're trying to kill me.
Just pull over to the side of the road, sir. That's all you have to do. Be safe. That's all you have to do, man. Let me see.
Yeah, when does his bird rights expire, man? That's a good question, because if we know that, then we basically predict the future, Q.
Mhm. You got a point,
Because
brother.
if his bird rights are still enacted, he'll play out this year, and then he'll go test the market and see who's gonna give him what. And when he finds a team he likes, we'll put that pistol on, like you say, and threaten to re-sign him for a sign and trade, which we probably ain't gonna get nothing amazing, but you at least get something.
We get something like you got for Val.
No, it'd be better, way better than that. Something like with the Warriors, got for KD, but probably lesser, because BI is KD light. They walked away with what's your boy who played for the Lakers now, man? Because he went to Golden State. Remember that? And then they flipped him for Andrew Wiggins. So Golden State walked away with Andrew Wiggins for losing KD. And if I'm not mistaken, they might have got a pick too. D'Angelo Russell is who they originally traded for. So we could something like that. You could get a guy that's pretty good but it's got to be a lesser value guy than BI. So you ain't talking about no all-star, but a lesser value guy than BI is still a pretty good player and possibly a pick. So that's right, Pelican notice. You're trading right now. Got a good point. You're trading right now, but we've said it time and time again. The Pels are cheap. So if there's a way to be had where we can get anything or increase what we've already floundered away, they're gonna take that route.
I'm
So they
trying
got
to.
two ways they can go about it. They can extend BI before the 6th and try to flip him during the season, or they let him play out and they're gonna try to get some type of sign and trade deal by threatening to bring him back. Hence all David Griffin's magical talking points about loving BI and he wants to be a part of the team. They're gonna keep all of that shit going.
Yeah, they got bird rights for him, DC. I just looked it up.
Well, you're going to continue to hear David Griffin talk about how it's such an amazing player, how he fits with the team. We want to keep him. We gonna y'all buckle y'all seatbelts. Y'all gonna hear that shit all year, unless
Yeah,
we give him that extension.
yeah, it's
Those
bird
talking
rights.
points may change because we got more leverage if we get him to extend before the
Yeah,
6th.
a veteran contract, 5+ years. The Pelicans do have his bird rights, so there you go. Let's see. I was trying to see if I could find that other information, man. I'm having a tough time trying to find that other information.
Oh, you got it, brother. You got it. What you talking about that
Yeah,
date?
I was trying to get a family member something on that date. Find something on the date.
You figured out the bird right part, so that's
Yeah, they got
that
his
tells
bird.
us a whole lot, man. If he plays into the season, then there's no trading him at the deadline. They're not gonna trade him at the deadline with his bird rights. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but like they get a lot better deal if they just let him test the free agency and threaten to re-sign him. And that's probably what Brandon Ingram is maybe anticipating on, because he's thinking because what usually happens is when guys test the free agent market like that,
Mhm.
they'll throw a lot of money at him to make sure the team doesn't resign him, right? But next offseason is going to be pretty unique, and it's going to be the way this offseason is. So unless Brandon Ingram is like most improved player again, or all NBA or some shit like that, I don't think you get most improved player twice, King. But unless he plays at like a ridiculously high level, man, nobody ain't throwing the bring struck at him. He gonna get similar deals to probably wouldn't get right now. What, 4 years, 150, 160, somewhere around there? Might be less than that if he don't shoot threes. If you're looking at DeRozan, what 4 years for DeRozan is like what, 126? They still gonna be pinching pennies next year. So hopefully BI got a good agent and he understands the best thing for him to do in the best scenario for us would be for BI to sign maybe like 2 years, 75, $80 million or something like that. Contract ain't too big to where you can't move it, and it's not too small to where he missing out on a whole lot. And he actually gets a slight raise. And then I think you're able to move him,
Didn't he turn down
sign
45?
him to a lesser deal. He turned down 45.
I want to say didn't one of the reports saying that he turned?
I don't remember hearing that. I remember hearing reports where the Pels say they were seeking to pay him 45 or whatever. But that's how deals go, bro. They always get done at the deadline. They're both gonna try to see who blinks first. Keep playing chicken all the way up to the deadline.
I'm trying to find that.
That's how it go when you're trying to negotiate for the most possible money. So
Hmm.
that's right. Who that daddy? He said,
Yep,
DC.
yep,
There's no
yep.
team that's paying him the max. That's my point. I agree. So if no team's paying him the max,
The market
then if
sets the
we
agreement.
right, the market is gonna set the terms. So somebody puts a deal out for him, and then we try to force them to sign the trade. If they don't want to blink at us getting a sign and trade for something that we agree with, we bring BI back for another damn year, and we trade him during the season.
Right.
Because
Hold on.
eventually his
See,
contract would make sense as time keeps going on.
I found this, man. This is you're probably in the stream with this one. Shout out to the fam. Thank y'all for being here, man. Appreciate y'all. Had Black Preacher Man sitting up here for a while. Black Preacher Man, thank you for your super chat, sir. Says the future is unclear because Griffin blew the 21 and 22. None of those players picked are on the team because Carlo, and this will be his first year on the team. Thank you, Black Preacher Man, for your super chat, sir. Much love to you, and appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Much love to everybody, man. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Black Peach.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate it. I respectfully disagree, though, brother. Like, we've been messing up a lot of our drafts after the Jose, Herb, Najee, Trey year. You know, we ain't really draft good, so them guys not being on the team don't mean nothing. We ain't really draft good.
Yeah, indeed, man. Let me here's one right here, DC, that I found. This is Shamit stuff from Substack. Keeping Brandon Ingram is a recipe for disaster. The risk of running it back with Ingram is far greater than the reward. And this is something that I'm not going to read all of this because it's a lot. If y'all want to chime in on it, just go to I guess it's on his Substack. Keeping Ingram is a recipe for this. Just throw that in the Google machine. It'll send you to the link. But I'm going to read you a couple of first paragraphs of this one. The NBA offseason activity has slowed, and Pelicans find themselves stuck after a blockbuster trade for DeJounte Murray. The only transaction the Pelicans have been able to complete is the signing of Daniel Tice at the league minimum contract. The team is now a few $100,000 over the dreaded luxury tax line and still have a roster spot to fill despite their committed salary. The Pelicans are projected to be 30th in the NBA when it comes to money invested in the center position. Their biggest obstacle in fielding a balanced team is Brandon Ingram's situation. The Pelicans are projecting a desire to let the Ingram situation play out over the season, choosing to do a recipe for disaster. He says choosing to do is a recipe for disaster. The risk of assessment on this decision paints a picture of significant financial and asset risks with not enough wins to counterbalance the cost. The financial risk. Ingram is entering the final year of his contract. He has been eligible for the extension since last summer, and by all accounts is searching for a 4-year, $208 million extension. At this stage in the game, the Pelicans have been unwilling to commit to this extension. Moreover, the great Mark Stein reported recently that Ingram's camp has also joined the search for a team that would be willing to hand Ingram this money. Thus far, the market has not materialized, and therein lies the issue. The Pelicans, despite publicly holding the position of wanting to retain Ingram, have been unable to find a suitable trade because absolutely no one wants to pay him. The offers have been cool or non-existent, and the Pelicans have no desire to move Ingram while his value is at its lowest point, yet the alternative in bringing him back is far worse. As mentioned above, the Pelicans are roughly $900,000 under the luxury tax line. The 2 roster spots they have to fill will push them over. And even if they sign 2 second-round picks, Antonio Reeves and Carlo Mekovic, 2 second-round pick exception, Makovic, which was signed while this article was being written, and Pelicans are now roughly $200,000 over the tax line. The Pelicans can do additional cap gymnastics with Matt Ryan's non-guaranteed contract by waiving him and bringing him back at a league minimum. None of this will drive the salary total below the tax line. By returning Ingram, extension or no extension, the Pelicans will once again have to wiggle their way out of the underneath the tax. The issue is the lack of tradable salaries that allow for easy maneuver. Surely it's not going to be Zion, Trey, or Herb as the pieces will get them under the tax. CJ McCollum is over $64 million at this juncture. League experts estimate the cost of moving McCollum to be at least 1 first-round pick. And it is that cost that the Pelicans are willing. He says, is that the cost the Pelicans are willing to pay for the right to move on from an elite shooter just so they can run it back with Ingram? And then, he throws some other stuff out there, but this is a pretty good article right here. And he goes into it and talk about money and all that. So not bad at all. But DC, let's touch on this before we kind of break on out of here. We passed our cutoff point, but go ahead, brother. You can speak on this before we shut down.
Right. I mean, he brings up a lot of excellent points, man. And it's pretty much a situation, damned if you don't, damned if you do. We gambling at this point, hoping, wishing, and praying, things can get better. But my whole point and the whole CJ thing was earlier because I'm like, we want to get rid of BI, we want to get rid of CJ. It does not benefit us to get rid of those guys and get nothing back in return, right? and hope for internal growth and internal development, which we haven't been the best at. We had some good draft picks. What that was 2020 year. You know, we messed up a lot of them after that. No, 2021, what the Herb trade year, and we pretty much messed up a lot of stuff after that. 2025 is pretty much a good year. We still own our own draft pick, so hopefully we can get something there. But to let Bi just walk, man, it's kind of hard to see becoming better due to that. But they're hard set on finding a starting center. I think if we were more intelligent, we probably should have turned away from that point and just got, the best assets or acquisition we could have gotten and looked at flipping that later. But, we lack the ability to see further than right in front of us. So here we are, at a situation where we're at. Still wouldn't like to see Bi just walk for nothing. But I'd be very curious to know what are the real trades that we're privy to, because some of the stuff I hear is just ridiculous. And 504 Doc, he had a comment in here I wanted to bring up. He brought up a very excellent point, man. He said Bi doesn't want to be traded, in my opinion. That's why he's asking for a max, knowing good and goddamn well he is not getting it. I actually, if you put everything in perspective and you really think about it, that could very well be a thing. What makes me know? We've heard what Bi says. He wants to be here. He loves the city. But you also know what made it a thing, Q? They had a clip I was supposed to send to you a while back, man, but I didn't. But I saw Brandon Ingram's dad go on the news, and he had like Bi jersey. He was discussing the contract situation, and everything he said was about Bi staying here. And he seemed so sad. Like, I do. 504 Doc brings up an interesting point. I think Kim and his camp really want to stay in New Orleans. But I also think Bi won't get paid. I don't think the whole he just saying that for as the money because of that, but I think you on to something partially, brother. He definitely wants to get paid, and that would put him in a bind. Maybe he don't want exactly 52, but it's like putting the team in a bind and kind of create a situation to get a favorable contract for him as well as the team and be able to stay here. Because my thing when we got DeJounte Murray, I was like, wait, and we didn't trade Bi? And DeJounte Murray, if I had to bet money, bro, out of every point guard in the league we probably could have got, that's probably the point guard Bi would have wanted. They've been friends. They were already in communication before he ever got here. They been knew each other. It was links for us to get DeJounte Murray when he was in the Spurs. We wanted to pull off a trade for him then before we wound up with CJ. Remember that? And then it came around again with Atlanta at the trade deadline. Y'all seeing the trend here and why I keep saying Jared Allen, right? They trying their best to get him too. We've been trying to pursue DeJounte Murray, and now they have him with Bi. Does Bi just want to leave after that? After his dog over here? If Bi had his way, he probably wants CJ gone. He wants CJ up and out of here, and they'll look at playing DeJounte, Trey, Herb, whatever, like that with him still here. That's probably what he wants. Then y'all got to remember, I don't think it's a lot of animosity between Bi and Trey, because every time you hear Trey open his mouth, he credits Bi a lot for him becoming the player he is. And he also talks about how they used to call him Mini Brandon Ingram as he was growing up, because they're both from, I guess, close enough away in North Carolina. CJ is really the eyeball out from the perspective of Bi. So 504 Doc, yeah, bro. That come from you, bro. I'm hearing what you saying and putting that together. I'm like, damn, shit, you might have a point, bro. And as much as Griff loved Bi, could this be a reality? Because I don't think Griff does not want to give away Bi just for nothing, bro. Don't want to do it. He love him too much, Q.
Yeah, we know that he loves human beings. Yes, DC, thank you for that. Loves human.
Well, why no love? Why no love for the aliens and the animals, bro? What's wrong with
Because human
Gaga,
beings,
bro?
because human beings have dominion, my friend. That's why.
So the animals don't get no love. And what about ET and
Only
the
with
UFOs and the aliens and all that, bro? No,
I, I
he
disagree
always
that.
makes a distinction between human beings. So I mean,
Yeah,
he has to consider, other species as well if
well,
he's making this this
he does.
this distinction.
I think you give love to the animals too. When you put the seasoning on them and the barbecue sauce, all that kind of stuff. I think
Well,
that's
he liked the Pelicans, I would hope.
no, you, no. You better, please don't eat the Pelicans, man. I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. So we don't need to eat
Goddamn ruffled feathers everywhere.
those shade feathers, brother. We got to treat the Pelicans, especially
Uh,
the brown Pelicans, like the bald eagles. DC, you can't kill them. You can't.
okay. State
Yeah,
bird, baby. It's a state
right.
bird.
Exactly, brother. We can't be doing that.
Punishable offense. That's right.
That's right. You go to jail for that. All right.
Well,
So anyway,
somebody need to tell David Griffin that because he's been eating off the Pelicans for a while now, bro.
yes, you gonna be continue to eat
He
off
need to
the
start protecting the Pelicans, stop eating off of them.
go.
It's not right.
You gonna be eating off the Pelicans for a while, man. I can be honest with you on that. All right. So anyway, fam, listen, man. We appreciate all you guys for being on the stream, man. Listen, man. This was almost 4. It's supposed to be 3 hours, man. 4 hours of Pelican talk on this Saturday, man. I got to go and handle some business. But listen, I appreciate all of you guys, man. You all are fantastic. Thank y'all for spending y'all valuable time talking about the Pelicans with us. Appreciate all of the great commentary you guys are dropping in the comment section. I'm reading all of the stuff, man. Just really impressed by a lot of the Pelican logic the family members are throwing out there. It is quite the conundrum, man, with the Pels, man, that we're watching, man, but it's very interesting, man, going forward. So anyway, to kind of go back at the poll that we had posted midway through the
Shout
show.
out to everybody in the flock, man. Appreciate all y'all, man. Y'all make this show fun.
Yeah, the poll said who starts at the 5 for the. Did you vote, DC? Go ahead and vote, brother, if you ain't have an opportunity to vote. The poll said who starts at the 5 for the Pelicans this season.
I can't see the link for it, man. This is what it's way in the beginning of the show.
It's in the chat. You just have to go toward where the comments at and comment there.
That's what I'm saying. And we laid a poll out in the beginning of the show. Or I don't remember.
No, it was halfway through. We had another poll that we put up. I forgot what the other poll was. Just that fast. Damn, y'all see how? I forgot what it should be in. I think the final it was in there, but it was another poll that I posted early on about wins. Yes, do the Pelicans get over 50 wins this year? And the family members, a resounding 70-something%, I want to say, from the previous poll, said that the Pelicans will win over 50 games. They will eclipse their win total.
I think they will be right around 50. That's why 50, 51. And not too many more than 49. But breakdown.
A lot of people were feeling that sentiment. They were agreeing with that sentiment. So that was a positive. And then, of course, like I said, this poll says, so who starts at the 5 for the Pelicans this season? And 51% of the pollers says it'll be Carlo Mekabic, that he will be the starter.
I hope they're right, Q, but my vote would be Daniel Tice. Just knowing Willie Green, he's not the type of person that's, he's risk averse, bro. He don't like to take a lot of risks. Daniel Tice is safe, and that's what I see Willie doing. He's gonna make the safe play. It would be risky to go with Meritage because there's no history of him consistently being able to do what he does. But if I was the coach, I definitely would start one of those younger guys. It would be a matter of which one. I would be going through training camp to try to see which one. And the reason I would is because if it wasn't right, like I could always go to Tice. I know what he's gonna give me.
Right.
Only way I wouldn't start him is just they look so bad, during practice and training camp and stuff that I can't do it. But it would pretty much be one of their jobs to lose if I was the coach. That's how I would look at it.
I can't dispute that Daniel Tice call because it's a safe bet. But I would vote for Yves. I'm gonna go with Yves Misi. We'll go with Yves. So
I hope y'all right and I'm wrong, but I've seen
no,
enough
you
of Willie.
no, Willie,
I'm
you
going
absolutely
Tice,
right.
though.
No,
If I gotta bet money on this shit, I'm going Tice.
right. If it's
My
money,
heart is like, oh, give me Mekovic, because what he could do with that, I would rather Mekovic right now because I think Eves can come along and then be that defensive guy, and it could be a nice tandem. You know, you got a more offensive center, and then you got that can play defense, and then you got you a defensive guy that could give you a little offense, being a live threat and whatnot. You know, I think
Yeah.
they could theoretically be a good tandem, but you know,
Yeah.
woulda, coulda,
Yeah.
shoulda.
I don't disagree with
Wishing.
you Tice, on Daniel Tice. I think you pretty accurate on the Daniel Tice thing. But you know, in the interest of like you have a question mark there, I'll probably be like going with the big man, the first round draft pick in Yves, who see how he does. And like you said, if he kind of struggles a little bit, put him in there, see how he does. And if he, you know, let him get his lumps and bumps. And if you need, he does too bad, then you can move in another, maybe put Tice in there and let him play some. So that's my thinking on it, man. I would like to see Yves do what he do, because what they saying, what they need, he potentially can do. So we'll see. And then of course, Tice, we talked about Daniel Tice shooting 30. What was it, DC? 37% from downtown on 70 something attempts last year. Not bad, not bad at all, man. Not bad at all to look at that. But anyway, we're gonna leave it right there, man. Listen, thank y'all once again. Y'all hit the like button, man. If y'all hadn't, if you're not a sub, please smash upon the sub button. Become a sub. If you're listening via X, hit the retweet button as well. That helps out the stream. And once again, thank you guys for shout out to the super chatters. If you want to join the platform as a channel member, you can feel free to go in the description section, or you can simply go to I think it's a join button on the tabs for the homepage. And I think we'll put one in the description section too. And we do lock shows. We just uploaded a lock show recently for our members. So if you guys want to do that, man, just feel free. That helps build up the channel. We can keep providing really strong Pelican talk and hollering at the fam. So with that being said, we're going to get out on that. We appreciate you guys. Much love to you guys. We're going to holler at y'all on the next one. Go Pels. Go Pels, man.
Go Pels. Peace.
Go Pels, man.
Peace.
DC, go Pels, man.
Peace.
Go Pels, man, DC. You're supposed to say it.
Peace.
Show us the edge, the chip on the shoulders, the fight and the passion that comes from within. Whoa. Trying to win on every level. Yeah. Expectations high. Got to show them you can fly. Play harder, better, smarter. Baby, put the league on notice. Show me the edge, play with the edge, show me the edge, play with the edge, show me the edge, show me the edge, yeah. Whoa, done seen the walk of shame enough. Wanna see the walk of winning, time to come up and bring out the outlaw. Don't every play, every possession. How bad you want it, love, do you want it all? This ain't a blood of love, built for something greater. Attacking all obstacles, coming for the ring, my precious. You got the juice, the will, the heart, the fire. Show 'em the proof, show 'em that it shall be done. Show me the edge, yeah. Play with the edge, show me the edge,
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow.